Good morning, Xbox. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another Sunday edition of Good Morning Xbox. I'm your host, Mr. Boom Boom Kaboom. Welcome to the room. It's going to be a good show today. As you can see, we have our usual panel of suspicious suspects here. That's right. Our fantastic panel, all complete today, including the one, the only Cerebral Paul back in action here. Good to see him back. So since I've already kind of introduced him, Paul, welcome back to the program. How have things been going? Obviously, you've had a rough couple of weeks, but it's nice to see you sort of settled a little bit.
Yep, I'm in Florida, and if we're going to go the usual suspects route, I'm the Gimp, okay? I'm just saying, which makes me Kaiser Soze, but that's just me. Um, but yeah, it's been an interesting couple of weeks, I thanks to a very good friend, I have a brand new monitor coming in for the one UPS broke. I am able to game on the smaller monitor, but I need a magnifying glass to see it. That's why I'm wearing the glasses, so I can read the actual text on the screen. I've actually been playing some games. I've been doing a lot of Red Dead Redemption to kind of chill out. That's my chill out game. Ride around on horseback and shoot people in the back, and maybe go fishing. And so there you go.
Good. Well, it's good to see you back, Paul. Hopefully things are settling down a little bit in your life. And like I said, I know you've had a rough go from your monitor to the whole situation that kind of caused the move to your cat. So
my cat passing away right before I left. Yeah, that was not nice.
No, that stings. I mean, I got cats, so I know how it feels, and yeah, it sucks, man. So sorry about all that stuff. But glad you're here. Hopefully, we can lift your spirits a little bit, and hopefully, you can lift the spirits of some of the people in the chat. But let's get over to the panel. I don't know what the hell I'm choking on this morning. And let's get back up to the top, and let's start with Coolcat Terri. Welcome, Terri. What's up?
Hey everybody, I'm doing pretty fantastic. Don't really have too much to report. I've just been, playing a lot of indie games lately, so I got some good stuff.
At least you've been able to play games. That's always a bonus. And Eternal Shaddai comes to us live from the attic instead of the dungeon. And how you doing this morning, Shaddai?
Hey, pretty good. Good morning, everybody. Hey, episode 8. I can't believe it. 2 more. We're going to reach our first milestone of 10 episodes. So I'm really happy, back with you guys. And welcome back, Paul.
Thank you.
Oh, but yeah, I'm with him. I've been playing Red Dead Redemption 2 also, but not shooting people on the back. Usually the wolf, beats me too, and I'm like, I have to restart all over again.
All right, let's come around the circle and let's get down to the man with the big smile, Mr. Axel1324. What's up, Axel?
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Xbox. So glad everybody's here to join us. Casket Repair, I see you in the chat. Good morning. Doggy Dog, good morning. Remember, chat, you guys are the real MVP of the show, and we can't wait to get into it.
Last but not least, we need a drum roll for this man. Actually, he should have his own drum roll because that's what he spends time doing when he's not here with us fine folks. It is the one, the only Scrub Nurse.
Hey guys, what's going on? Glad to be here on camera this week. Not coming live via satellite. I've been doing playing some music. Last night got rained on, but still was able to keep the show going afterwards. Trying to play a little video games. Glad to see everybody in the chat. Excited about what we got the topics today, so let's get started.
Yeah, and speaking of topics, they're a little bit on the lighter side this week. Seems like I said, after E3 kind of ends or that sort of week or two, it just really slows down. And there hasn't been a lot that's caused you to jump up out of your chair, but we'll get into a few things. And I think that for one of our first topics or one of our topics.
Real quick, since we mentioned Red Dead Redemption, let me just say, last night I was going through, because I was going to go through and figure out some of the achievements I could get. If they broke out the Red Dead Redemption 2 online stuff from the main game, which means not everybody has the online stuff,
right?
Don't put all the achievements for the online crap. More than half of the 1,000 points are all online shit.
That sucks. That's just trying to force you to go over and play it if you're an achievement hunter.
Yeah, which to me, if you're going to break it away from the main game, then break away those achievements as well.
Yeah.
Because not everybody owns the now you can buy the main game without having the online stuff. So I just had to throw that out there since we mentioned it.
You can buy the game without the online?
Yeah. Yep.
What? Okay.
Thank you for the heads up.
Well, I believe so. Yeah, they're separate entities now. Remember, because you can buy the online separately. Yeah, and Steam had a sale last week, but the sale ended yesterday. So if you don't have it and you want it on PC, too late, unless you want to pay full price.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's catch up with that fantastic chat. As always, Doggy Dog is in the house. I think he was the first one to enter the doghouse this morning. He's happy Sunday, new panel and chat, $1.99. Thank you so much, Doggy Dog. We can always count on you and your support. You're one of the best, bro. And we will definitely get you on an edition of Good Morning Xbox in the near future for sure. Let's catch up real quickly. We've got Lost Forever's in the house. Lost Forever said, looks like he also lost a pet this morning. So our condolences to you, sir. Sorry to hear about that, man. It really sucks. They are part of our families. If people have a heart and they really care about their animals, those things sting, man. Some cases they hurt more than losing your own damn relatives. Probably more. So he said he had to put the dog to sleep on Wednesday. He was not happy. So he's hoping that we can cheer him up a little bit. Well, we'll try our best. Casket Repair is in the house. Good to see you, Casket. How you doing, man? We've got General Spartan is here with us this morning. What's going on? We got Back from the Dead. Good to see you on a podcast the other day as well, Back. Mr. Tushy coming to us live from the UK. He's listening in this morning. Caper Grant, what's going on, Caper? Hope you're doing well. Hope you had fun last night gaming. If you're able to get any time in at all. I didn't do community game night last night. Kind of sucked, but just too much on the go. Cray Simmons, Gaming TV, he's in the house. Cray, what's happening? Well, I know him as Hollywood on Xbox, but he's a good dude, and it's always good to see him gracing our presence. RG Viper X, what is happening, sir? Glad you could be here this morning. And Calantis is here. What's going on, Calantis? And there we go. I think we've caught up with just about everybody. But anyway, and Quietish G, what's going on, Quietish? Glad you can make it. All right, let's get right down into it, everybody. Let's get right into those juicy topics this morning. The first one is going to start on a lighter note, and hopefully we can bring some laughs to this one, and that is the Xbox marketing team. For a while, I think they were missing the boat, but they're coming back in a pretty heavy way. I mean, obviously, Game Pass is being marketed to hell. I mean, and why not? It's, it's the pre facto subscription service for everybody out there. It's one of the biggest reasons to own an Xbox platform. For the value, the amount of games that are in there, so on and so forth. I mean, there's so many things we could say about Game Pass, but we're not here just to toot that horn all morning. I just want to talk about the marketing phase in general. And just recently, they took a lot of people back to the old school with some new school, bringing in the group called All for One, who were made famous by singing that song. Anybody want to join me? And I swear. By the moon and the stars in the sky. All right, I promise. That's the end.
We all know when Newf was jamming in his Walkman back in the day.
Wow.
I wish I had matches or a lighter.
Oh yeah.
But anyway, they brought those guys back and did a sort of like a cover of that, or what do you call it, like a parody? What did they call it? It's all there, isn't it? It's all there.
It would be a parody. It would be a parody.
Yeah. Parody, yes, that's the word, and it was pretty good. I mean, I thought it was interesting. It obviously brought some people in memory lane, and it was lighthearted, but it kind of covered all the bases. So, just that and everything else you've been seeing going into the summer, everything from like the sort of the magazine ads or the stuff that you see online or the presentation of Xbox, the brand itself. Where do you feel it's come? What do you think has been the pinnacle of Xbox marketing? How do you feel about this? And what sort of thing, or maybe where do you think it needs to go? And where should we start with here? Should we go around the group? What Paul? Are you?
No, I just thought there's my lighter. If you can see can you see? That's my lighter app.
Everybody turn out your lights.
Doesn't show. I have a Zippo app on my phone that makes it look like a lighter. So when you go to concerts, you can wave your Zippo without actually waving your Zippo.
So just before we get to your guys' opinion on this, look, see in the chat, RT Viper X, he said it was a very cringe video. I know some people that loved it and watched it multiple times. Some people thought, like, again, it was cringy, it was tacky, that sort of thing. But, how do you...
Okay, so the other platform people thought it was cringy. We get that. Okay, so... No, I mean... And like you said, they did it for nostalgia and for fun. Why can't they have fun, And to speak to your point that, they're finally they're hitting they're doing stuff now. Again, that's because, and I've said this all along, one of the reasons they cut back on the advertising all over the world was because of availability. Why would you advertise something that get people hyped and excited for and they can't go pick one up? That is starting to change, especially with the Series S. But even the Series X has been is now available for pre-order in the UK again as of last week, and I think the availability is even starting to come too. So that's why you're starting to see them again. I think they're going to be doing this all leading into fall, leading into the 20th anniversary, leading into Halo. It's all. So if you're tired of seeing Xbox now, just wait. I mean, and they're making that Game Pass push.
Mm-hmm.
They're calling it that we need to get Newf on board push. I don't know. That's the official name of the campaign. But
Well, they haven't managed to do it yet. That's how stubborn I am.
yeah. But wait till you say wait till all those games start hitting, then you may be pushed into it.
No, as Mag said, wait till I'm broke.
There you go. That'll do it.
Will stop working, and that's when it'll come in.
Yeah, that's when I'll get Game Pass. My Xbox will actually, with my luck, that's probably what will happen. I'll get Game Pass, and then my Xbox will probably die on me. Something will happen. I'm like, yeah, great. Yeah. I mean, obviously, like I said, Paul, how do you feel about that? I mean, how do you feel about the overall image of Xbox right now? Kind of where they're at, some of the pinnacles of the marketing. Is there anything that ever stood out to you? And, I mean, there's lots of ways they've been marketing the brand. I mean, obviously, we've talked about this before through the adaptive controller,
right?
Obviously, Game Pass and a few things. But how do you see the overall picture? And what do you think they might need to do?
This is right now. This is blanket marketing. They're not focused on any one thing really. They're just trying to get their name out there again. And you'll have to forgive me. My monitor just went out, so my computer's still on because I'm still talking to you, but I can't see anything right now. So I'll have to. So yeah. But I think it's a generalized marketing thing. And they're like I said, they're gonna looks like they're flooding everything basically just to get everybody's attention. Hey, we're still here. Not only are we here, we're here. It's I think it's a good look for them because it does seem like they've been quiet the last few months, at least in general. For us, they haven't been quiet because we follow all the stuff they've been doing. But for the general public, all of a sudden, you can't watch a YouTube video without getting hit with a Game Pass ad. You can't watch a Twitch video without getting hit with a Game Pass ad. I don't know what they're doing on terrestrial TV because I don't watch it. I don't watch, So I don't know how that is on the cable channels and stuff, if they're hitting anything there. Maybe one of you do. I wouldn't be surprised if they aren't, or if they are, starting to hit some of the bigger channels, especially in early evening prime time, to get the family attention, not just the older people, but they want to, when the kids are still up going, yeah, Dad, I want to play that, whatever, So yeah, I think they're on a good start. I think we're all this is going to lead into a very nice fall season for Xbox, I think. A holiday season.
How important is marketing, Paul?
Marketing is everything. I mean, that's, especially with everything that's gone on, they need to let people know that they're still there. They need to let people know that, especially, and I sound like I'm beating their drum, that Game Pass is not only the future of gaming, it is the now of gaming.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, if you're gonna buy a $500 console but you can't afford games, hey, we'll give you 15 days, 30 days for free. But at $15 a month, you have access to, on Xbox alone, over 200 games. If you get Xbox Ultimate, you have 400 and something.
Yeah.
Plus, you have access to the cloud, so you can take your games with you.
Yeah.
And And I can't blank my camera, but I need to figure out what's going on with my screen.
No problem. Well, you got some time to do it because we're going to head over and check in with Scrubners.
Yep.
Scrub, how do you feel about the marketing? Maybe you can also touch on something, your neck of the woods, NFL. I know a long time ago, Microsoft and the NFL were kind of in a partnership kind of deal, a lot of that. So, maybe touch on some of those aspects as well with the pro sports or at movie theaters and the places where you're seeing it or lack thereof with the marketing. But how do you feel about the all for one thing and the rest of it?
Well, I think that the marketing campaign right now that they're doing for the Xbox and for especially Game Pass has been on point. I know some people are saying it's kind of cringe. I know Some people are like, who is all for one? I know that was a big question for a lot of people when this little ad came out, but what's big on the internet, what's big on Twitterverse and all that stuff is meme culture. And I
Right.
think that this is a company that is just having fun right now. When you're relaxed, when you're doing well and you're trying to push something, you feel very confident, it's easy to do something like this that is more, playful, as fun. But because they put out this song, and I think with the music video, it was getting more people just hitting that hashtag over and over again and sharing the video more than anything. And it's just getting Game Pass out there. You're seeing Xbox trending over and over again. This is almost like a couple of weeks ago how everybody was saying, hey, just for a low price, you can get Game Pass with access for all these games. It's steady, keeping it churning around. I don't think that was a video that would be on TV, more or less, because it's a little bit harder to explain everything that's going on because you have to sit there and listen to the words and pull out all the words. So I think this was something that was specifically set up for the internet, for a meme to be getting passed around and around just to get Xbox name out there. Whoever's doing their Twitter marketing, I think is awesome. You see other companies doing the same thing. I know a lot of people follow Wendy's. They follow a fast food chain just to see what they're going to tweet out next. And if you can get folks having their eyes on Xbox, on Microsoft to see what they're doing, it's easier to reach out to more and more people. And I just think that's a great thing. As far as them moving out to the sports, that's a big thing you want to have during the NBA finals. You want to have coming to Xbox, exclusive to Xbox, Xbox Game Pass for only such and such. I know it was talked about in the chat as well. Doggy Dog was talking about the MLB The Show commercial. I myself have not seen it, but anytime you can pull that out, whether it's during hockey, NFL, people are watching these things, and it might be somebody who goes, oh, I only buy Madden every year. Oh, I only buy Call of Duty. And when you see that, and then they say you have access to all these games, it just puts Xbox into the zeitgeist. It just adds one more person that could think, maybe I should check this out. Especially if you've never had it and you can jump in for $1. It kind of makes it more easy. So I think this is a company that is feeling confident, a company that knows what they have, and they're just stretching their legs out. And it's only going to get better as far as putting more out. And I think them seeing the response, what they've been getting online, I think you're just going to see more and more in this, especially on Twitter. So I think it's a great thing.
Is it just me or is Darth Vader in the building?
And that could be me heavy breathing right now. I just got my exercise for the year. So there you go.
That's all good, Paul. That's funny. Oh, shit. Good
By the way,
stuff,
I just saw in chat that they've been playing commercials during the finals, according to Doggy Dog. So,
Oh, nice. Is that the Euro finals?
NBA finals.
Oh, NBA. Yeah, I wonder how present they are with stuff like the, with the FIFA and like so. Right now, that wasn't the Euro Cup or whatever's on the go. I think the finals today, isn't it, between Italy and England? No, not Italy and England. Yeah, Italy and England. That's right today. I think it is. I could be wrong. I don't know. I don't really follow that stuff too much, but
yeah, I think was at the UEFA Cup.
Yeah, the UEFA Cup or whatever.
90 minutes of flopping. Who wants to see that?
Oh, I know, man. It's so embarrassing for the sport when you see that stuff. It's absolutely asinine.
And I'm not kidding. I was at a bar the other day drinking, and they had a soccer matchup. I don't even know who was playing. But every time I would take a look up to the screen between talking to my friend, I saw someone on the ground. That's all I saw for it. And I saw maybe 30 minutes of this. Every time I looked up, someone was on the ground flopping. And I'm like, how do people enjoy this? This is boring.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, if I was those
Soccer's
leagues,
just not for me.
I'd be cracking down on that stuff, man, because that's a bad look. You got hockey players playing with
Planking is the new
and
Olympic
their
sport.
teeth knocked out and the whole 9 yards, and they come out and still play the game. It's insane.
Exactly, Newf.
Yeah, those guys are insane. I can't do it.
Yeah, Crazy stuff. But anyway, enough about the sports. I noticed what a Lady Foxfire says. Oh, sports, guys. Oh. Anyway.
That's your impression of Lady Foxfire.
Shout out to Lady Fox. She's awesome. I'd love to get her on the panel at some point in time, too. We got to get some more representation in here. Cyber Gunter's in the house. What's going on, Cyber? How you doing, man? I see Dirt Griggity is in the house. Good to see him here this morning. What's up, Dirt? Good to see you. Who else came in here? And by the way, guys, spread the word. I'm apparently like 2 subs away from hitting another milestone of 2,000 subs on YouTube. So, from a channel that was very, very stagnant, I'm pretty impressed with that. And I never thought for the like of me I'd ever hit 1,000, let alone be almost up at 2. So spread the word out there. If you know anybody who hasn't subscribed to my channel yet, please do so you can catch more of us fantastic people and the Gaming After Dark crew on Tuesday nights as well. So, all right, Rob, what's going on, man? Felix, how you doing? Good to see you guys. All right, so let's get over to Axel. Axel, how do you feel about the marketing that Xbox has been doing? Some of the things that stand out to you, perhaps areas you feel they need to improve in.
So I've noticed that Xbox is really hitting the 90s. When Gears 5 came out, the Kid Unleashed trailer featured 9 Inch Nails, I believe it was. But Xbox is all about Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, and what better way to get out what everything has other than bringing all for one, singing "It's all there." You want games? It's there. On your Xboxes, it's all there. On your phone, it's all there. You don't have to compromise anything when it comes to Xbox Game Pass. So I think that was a really smart move on their end. Even if it did become cringe, hey, you know what? People are talking about it, and that's what matters, right? Whether you're talking about how cringe it was or how funny it was, which is where I'm at, or how great it is, the purpose of the marketing worked. People talked about it. On Twitter, who was it? Dustin Laguerre of IGN started that whole little sarcastic being paid by Xbox posting. So they got some free marketing there, which was actually pretty hilarious. Xbox is just on everybody's mouth right now. Everybody thinks about it whether they want to or not. Whether you think they're doing great or you think they're doing bad, they're on your mind, and that's something they're doing right. Whether you like being bombarded with Xbox ads or you hate it, guess what? You're still talking about it, and it's still on your mind. And until the games come out, because let's be honest, the launch happened in November, and first-party exclusive reasons to subscribe to Xbox have not really been there. I mean, we got MLB The Show, which was awesome. We got Outriders exclusively on there launched, and The Medium exclusively launched. Those are great games, but they're not really a true reason to get Xbox Game Pass Ultimate or Xbox Game Pass.
I would change that terminology. They're a reason for some of us, but they're not a general reason. They're not a general public reason. They're not a big draw.
It's exactly as possible. It's not a big draw.
I wouldn't say they're not a reason to, because for some of us it was a reason to. I was really looking forward to the Medium, and I enjoyed the hell out of the game. So
sorry, Paul, you're coming in like really high pitched, almost like a robotic chipmunk.
Come on. This thing's getting crazy.
I'm not trying to make fun of you. It's just funny.
I know.
It's all there.
First I get you're loud, you're quiet. Now you're fuck it. I don't care.
Well, the audio level is good, but now it's cracking up like it's in and out.
It has to do with my mic settings, and I was trying to, because you guys are hearing me breathe now, and I don't necessarily want you to do that.
I'd rather hear you breathing though than cracking up. To be honest, that's okay.
Helium Paul, bro. Ultimate.
Oh man,
that's all right, Paul. Take a breath, man. Take a breath. It's all good, man.
So Sony's going after Paul. RG Viper X. So there's good reason to have Xbox Game Pass, but I'm talking the first party reason. The things that Xbox is going to advertise without having to have an advertising contract with somebody is not really there yet. Psychonauts is coming out though soon. Flight Simulator will be there soon. Halo is going to be there.
Don't be surprised if Flight Simulator is a
better.
limited draw too. People are expecting more from Flight Simulator than I think they're going to get. They're expecting a big, exciting game, and really,
No.
it's a simulator. People, don't get your hopes up. You don't get, a lot of people find it boring once they figure it out.
Right.
Fast back in the chat says Axel brought the Xbot out of Cerebral Paul. That's funny.
Okay.
But
Sounds
like I said,
better.
they're doing a great
You're
job.
right there
I think
now.
with
It's
what they
fine.
have, they're doing a great job.
Yeah.
Good stuff. How about you, Shaddai? What's your take on the Xbox marketing scene, past, present, and potentially future?
Actually, for me, it's a bit of a step up compared to the 360 era. That's when actually marketing was way better before the Xbox One was, for some reason, the marketing was down, but this one is way up. It's like they hold on for quite some time, and due to whatever pandemic was happening, it just blew up. It just blew up. Here you go. This is what you have. This is the access that you're gonna get. And now we're hearing all this, especially that they're pretty much selling pretty well in Japan. This is even better. The more you tryna show to people or customers what are your plans and what Microsoft is trying to do is even better. It's even better. So I hope it keeps the trending of this marketing to keep going, especially like Axel said. Flying Sim is around the corner, Psychonauts, Halo, Forza, all that. The big heavy hitters, you need as much marketing as you can so you could get those systems out. I don't know if we're still out, you can't find them now that we're kind of, I'm not going to say back to normal, but as more chips are contributed to Microsoft and more systems are going out to the public, the better. And that's the way I see the marketing, pretty much doing a great job right now. So, good job to the marketing team.
From what I understand right now, according to multiple sources, what's happening is as soon as the boxes are available, they're gone. So they are starting to get out there. They're just
that's good.
There's not more out there than that they can stock stuff up. As soon as stock is showing up, it's disappearing. So that's a good thing. So
is that only for the United States or
no? That's for the UK as well.
Oh, UK. Okay. So
I don't know about Asia and stuff, but yeah, like I said, UK, the Amazon store actually had them up for pre-order as of last week.
Okay, that's even good. So right now, marketing team, good job, keep it up. And actually, for that marketing of the '90s, that actually gave me a nostalgia. So nostalgia is a drug. So it gave me, it gave me a flashback. So remember, they also have that marketing of the mini fridge that everybody wants. So they're on a roll. Keep going.
Right.
Keep adding. So,
Yeah. No, that's awesome.
I will fight somebody for that mini fridge.
They're coming soon.
Since you're getting every pre-order on hold, you might get that one on hold too. So, Mr. Hold.
I hope so.
Terry, how about you? What do you think about Xbox marketing, past, present, and future? What things do you like? Perhaps some areas you think they could use some improvement in, or at least be more visible in.
I pretty much agreed with a lot with what Scrub Nurse was saying, because a lot was what I was going to say. Is that they've been focused really heavily on the meme culture. They embraced the Craig meme and ran with it. They they embraced the fridge thing and made it real, and then they made a mini fridge on top of that. So like they embraced all that, and and now they have, of course, the music video. So I think they're doing a great job, because that like Scrub said, that's where the younger generation is they're on social media. So they're pushing that meme culture to stay relevant over there, which is great. I haven't seen any ads anywhere on TV or anywhere else. Everybody else has, which is great. But yeah, I watch a lot of YouTube. I haven't seen a single Xbox ad on YouTube, and I see a lot of ads on YouTube.
Yeah.
But yeah. But everything I see that has to do with Xbox ads is always Twitter. That's where so they're doing a great job there, and kind of wondering what they're going to do next because they are having fun, and I don't know what they're going to do, but I'm sure whatever it is, it's going to be surprising.
The fact that they're socially watching the memes and going, hey, let's have fun with that. I mean, and they're on top of it because that was just a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Is there a demographic or a market that they're sort of missing that you think, they've kind of missed the boat or, that sort of thing? Because we see them in a lot of passes.
They've hit everyone because they got with the All for One ad that hits our generation because we grew up with that music, so that hits us. And then just doing all the memes on social media is hitting all the younger generation. So they got everybody right now.
Right. Yeah, I see they're very active on Facebook, Instagram, all the social networking, so they should be, right?
We might get NSYNC.
I'm waiting for them to do something, with TikTok. That they're probably going to have something with TikTok at some point because that's where the young kids are.
Yeah.
So.
Well, there was talks at one point of them buying TikTok, but I don't think that materialized. I'm kind of thank God for that anyway. But yeah, you okay there, Paul?
Yeah, no, it's that I have a nagging cough I haven't been able to get rid of for months now, and I just realized the camera makes me look really fat because I'm really fat. I got to do something about this. I'm getting ugly. This is not nice.
Hey, bro, you see this up right here? Don't worry about it. There's a reason why I stayed behind it off camera for so many years. You're lucky you got me on here now, but yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, but I'm noticing that high neck shirts like this, which is an Xbox shirt that you can't see, by the way. I have no neck. I have the Italian no neck thing going on. I'm Luca Brasi. I'm going to go sleep with the fishes in a bit here. So yeah.
That's all right. If I tip my head down far enough, I kind of start looking like Jabba the Hutt. So that's okay. Yeah.
That's not good.
Oh man. Yeah. Okay, but I'll give you my 2 cents worth. And here's the thing. And let me start from the top, right? They've definitely come a long ways. I definitely think they dropped the ball toward the end of the Xbox generation, at least the end of the Xbox One generation a little bit. And that was largely due to switching gears, I think. Switching gears at the company, a lot of different changeovers, different policies, different directive. I think, like I said, they gave up on the Xbox One generation, I think, for the most part, sort of once they knew, okay, like this is kind of stagnated. We need to change directions. We got to bring out the some new hardware. We got to hit our demographic. We got to hit our target audience in a different way than the competitors are doing. Obviously, the same things that work for them don't necessarily work for us. And I think they've done good with that. Obviously, like I said, the big one that comes out is Game Pass. Unless you're living under a complete rock, how do you not know what Game Pass is and what it offers right now? Right. But that's the good question. This is something that honestly, I would like to take to the streets, to go to the streets and ask the average everyday person, hang outside of a Walmart and then walk in, and then people that go buy the electronics or that, have you heard of Xbox Game Pass, right? And just kind of see where no, I don't know what it is, or ask some kids, do you know what Game Pass is? Those sorts of things is get that hands on. We all know what it is. The gaming community knows what it is, but do the average consumer know? Because right now, that's where the money is. That's where they know we're going to get it. I mean, outside of Newf Nukem, of course, but they know most of us are going to get it and invest in that sort of stuff. But what about the average consumer? Because that's the thing. Like that's the funny part. Nintendo is at this weird point where, like, they almost don't need the marketing. Their stuff just almost instantly sells. It's just really weird, and a large part of that is due to quality. Like Nintendo, people know that one thing about Nintendo. You can say what you like about the fiscal numbers on Nintendo or how they like to take their consumer to the bank, but they do make quality products. You rarely buy a Nintendo game and feel like you got gypped, like oh man, this game is absolutely trash, I need to return it. Like very rarely, like you kind of know what you're getting regardless, right? But I'm not
it's a beautiful piece of cardboard.
Yes, that lava, man, I tell you, beating that to death over here. My cats have used it for a litter box, so it did come in handy. But you know what I'm saying, right? So Xbox is having to work harder. I mean, obviously we saw how with the Xbox One generation, the whole Kinect thing really flopped. And I don't know if that was because they didn't market it right for the Xbox One, or if it was just that the one for the 360 sort of left a bit of a bad taste in people's mouth, and they didn't realize that, you know, the Xbox One Connect had so much untapped potential that we never did get to see. It was, the writing was on the wall for it. I think, I mean, me personally, when I had the Connect for the Xbox One, I used it all the time, like for the voice commands and the whole 9 yards, and the whole dashboard was built around. People don't realize that, like, they designed the whole system, and people were, well, doesn't run. No, because it was meant to run with Connect in mind. And of course, when that changed, they had to make a lot of UI changes. But not to get off topic, but you know, the upper brass management alone, without even marketing it, is marketing. And I'm going to tell you why. Because one, Phil, Aaron, especially those two guys, very active on social media, one, right? And that's pretty interesting, and that's pretty rare for like heads up in companies to socialize with their fans, to be active on social media. I don't see that at a very few companies. It's certainly not in the way that they do it, right? They promote all their good stuff. You know, they're the first people congratulate Nintendo and Sony on successes, et cetera, et cetera. Very active, and that's good. You know, sometimes that can be a dangerous thing, because we all know how one simple, you know, tweet out in the world that gets taken the wrong way can basically burn the house down. So you always had to be careful there, and I think that's where you have to have people with eyes on, kind of editing and watching, and being very careful with those with the marketing tweets and how they come out, right? You don't want to come off as being conceited, but sometimes you got to ooze confidence too, and sometimes both can be a little bit. There's a fine line between confidence and conceitedness, right? But yeah, when you got, you know, but we're going to talk about something like that in a bit. But then you also look at the heads, right? You got Sarah Bond, fantastic, beautiful, successful young black lady running the games division. You know, you got another woman at the head of 343 with Bonnie Ross. You know, you see a lot of diversity, so they're starting to hit the inclusiveness and diversity part of the marketing as well. You see a lot of marketing, a lot of ads that aren't just, you know, typical from the past. You see, it's Terry's even wearing a shirt right now. She's got the Xbox Pride shirt on, as you can see here. So, you know, they're obviously acknowledging that they have a lot of fans who, you know, aren't just straight people, you know what I mean? Like there's people of all walks of life and stuff like that, and they're trying to appeal to everybody, because everybody games. Paul, who's obviously has cerebral palsy, he games, so they're appealing to that crowd. Adaptive controller, nobody else did it. Microsoft did it. You know, they need to tout that one a bit more, to be quite honest with you, because I think outside of the initial, you know, introduction, they kind of let that one slide to the back burner a little bit. And I think they should be honestly saying, like, we offer more ways to play, not just the best place to play, but more ways to play.
Yeah, I've been their loudest cheerleader, and I don't get a paycheck, so you know.
Right. You know, but also the YouTube generation. Us guys right here. We're here with an Xbox titled podcast. Good Morning Xbox. So we are pushing that brand. We're trying to help get the word out. We're trying to share the positivity, because there is a lot of positivity. Unfortunately, a lot of the YouTube crowd seems to gather success and clout by always finding something negative where there is nothing. To twist a title, to twist, you know, all this kind of crap all the time. You know, we're going to come to one of our topics too, is we're going to talk about this constant nagging performance versus performance thing that you see all the time. Like, you know, but they're hitting those bases. I mean, games right now, they're just advertising at 20-something odd studios with more acquisitions possibly in the works. You know, they're killing it with their shows. That's another thing. Everybody else has taken a back seat and basically left the stadium, you know. You know, honestly, it's like the old additive. I'd rather have a fighter show up to the fight and lose than not show up at all. Well, that's what the competition's been doing, is not even showing up at all. They're doing their own thing, because I don't know if they're just sort of timid because of the way they will look, the perception of how they're going to look when they go up against the big dog who's throwing the prize fighters up there on the stage. So they're like, yeah, let's stay out of the limelight because nobody will notice that. Yeah, it's like the Tom Cruise, Sylvester Stallone movie making thing. How they always look like they're 7 feet tall because they put them next to short people, or they fix the camera angle so that makes them look really tall, but in actuality they're less than 6 foot, you know, and that sort of thing. So I say that's what the competition's doing. They're always trying to find a way to make themselves look better by basically not showing up or finding their own avenue to promote. But like I could go on all day. I am impressed overall with Xbox marketing. I think most people are familiar. Paul, you alluded to it as well. The lack of consoles right now is one of the things that is hurting, because it's hard to promote something and drive people to a storefront to go buy your product when the product is not there. So it's like, yeah, we got all these great games, but if you don't have the new console. But that's the cool thing too, is you don't really need to have the Xbox Series S or the X to enjoy Xbox. And that's something a lot of people don't get either. You can still enjoy them. You still might be able to go out and pick up an Xbox One X, which is still a damn good console. I know they're harder to get now because they've been discontinued. But like the Xbox One S is still there, a very affordable option. Like I said, tons of games to play, and that at the end of the day is what needs to speak the loudest. And price. I mean, you got tons of controllers. You got the whole. I mean, nobody else is even doing the custom controller thing like Xbox. How many people have you seen, guys, in the last 2 weeks since Xbox Design Labs came back, posting controllers? There's marketing for you right there. Very subtle, but it's marketing. Everybody's like, I got this fancy new controller. Well, guess what happens? Oh my God, I gotta get a controller like that. You know, of course, the other side will make fun of it. Xbox got more controllers than games. Well, I guess we do. But hey, you know what? At least with Xbox, they actually do controllers and not just one color scheme. Like, like, you know, the competition's like, oh, you go into a store, you want a custom controller? Well, you just get a color. It's just like going in and buying a different color T-shirt, right? They do really nothing special at all. The only one I bought on the competition, the PS, I bought that Last of Us 2 special edition controller, which actually had some graphic design into it. It actually looked kind of cool. It's kind of almost like a silhouette kind of thing into the controller. That one wasn't too bad. But outside of that, they haven't really done anything that's really special. Do you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man, like I said, I could go on all day. Any further thoughts on this? I think they're doing a great job.
You brought up something, and I think that would be really cool if they would start pushing because of the fact that the consoles aren't out there yet. They should start pushing, hey, even though we know this is hard to get, we have xCloud. And until that gets there, you can play it on your phone, you can play it on your tablet, you know, all these same games. And as soon as you get that console, they're there for you to play. I don't know why they're not doing that, because that would be a big, you know, get people already in the door, basically.
Right.
Okay, we don't have the console yet, but we can start playing the games. That would be awesome. Also, the other thing you mentioned was kids. I think coming up to Christmas, they need to start focusing. Hey, kids, tell your parents, you know, I know you're going to get this console, but did you know, instead of just buying 1 or 2 games, you can get us Game Pass for a year or Game Pass for 6 months, and we're going to have access to hundreds of games. You know, it's a great selling point, you know.
I think that's where the social media push is, because as long as the younger audience is catching it, they're going to pass it over to their parents and say, hey, can you buy me this? Please buy me this, and that'll work.
Oh, one other spot I forgot to mention that I did see a big improvement of is, remember a little while back that Microsoft signed a partnership with GameStop, right?
Yep.
Well, I have seen an improvement at the storefront level, even up here in Canada. It's trickled down to the EB Game stores, because I can tell you now that Xbox is more prominent inside the store than I've seen in years. I'm starting to see their games up on the main wall. I'm starting to see more in their advertising itself, where it was always tip. And I brought this up, believe it or not, years ago, when I was talking about bias in sort of the ads. And what I mean by that was I was pointing out, I said, like, every time I used to see like an EB Games ad, they'd have this big picture of the PlayStation version of the game. I know it doesn't sound like much, okay? But you see the big PlayStation picture like front, and then you see these little tiles in the back of the Xbox, PC, et cetera, right? It always looked like that was the primary version of the game. Whether they had the marketing rights or not, they always highlight it. Whether it was Madden, whether it was Call of Duty, it was like the PlayStation version, right? So what do you think when you look at that in the glance? On PlayStation, right? You might not even notice it's on Xbox. Now I'm starting to see more Xbox stuff out there. But the difference is, Microsoft paid some money to do that. Whereas before it was kind of just, well, I think a lot of the people in the store, whoever's in charge of their stuff, was just pretty much like, well, we're PlayStation guys. It's going to be front row and center. And even their stores were laid out very favorably for PlayStation stuff. Like I walked into how many, and this might be on the Microsoft thing too. And that's with their people that they hire to go into the stores, their marketing reps in the store level. Because how many of you guys ever walk into a store when you're promoting a brand new console and you don't even see the new console in the display case? It's the old one that's still running. It's got all the grease stains on it. They're still running demos and commercials from 5 years back. You're like, how do you promote the new console if you don't have it. That's the bottom line. And then you walk over to the next cabinet, and guess what? Well, the new Nintendo product is there, the new PlayStation product is there, but not the Xbox. And I told this to people at the store level. It's like, dude, you guys got to. Somebody has to step up their game at the store levels because your representation here is not current, and it looks bad. The other things too is they can't ignore the small countries. Just because Canada doesn't have the population and the sales revenue up here doesn't mean you treat us like a second class citizen, basically. You know what I mean? Like, we're still very important, we're still very vocal, we still buy the product. Because up here, I go to the theaters, I see PlayStation ads. I go in like a stores, a lot of PlayStation ads. You go to hockey games, or you watch hockey on TV, and of course the biggest team in Canada is the Toronto Maple Leafs by far. They're sort of Canada's team from East Coast to West Coast. I can't stand them, but you'll see PlayStation on their boards. But I don't see Xbox, right? I don't see Xbox hardly anywhere in that range at all. So like, they need to be a little bit more on those levels as well. I'm not saying you got to be everywhere, but sometimes it does feel like, well, where's Xbox? Like, like in hockey, I know it's small in the States relative to a lot of other sports, but up here it's huge, and everybody pretty much watches hockey in Canada. Not
only that right now the Olympics is close. It's coming around the corner in Japan, and having the marketing there, it will help out also. Sales in Japan too. So that's a really good opportunity for them to actually market it, especially on the Olympics, now that all the countries are going to be there. So I believe that should be included there too.
Yeah, they should hit that hard, especially if they can put advertisements in the stands, since people won't be there anymore. So you see somebody running around the track and you got Xbox, digital Xbox commercial, or just the name Game Pass sitting digitally covering a section of the stadium. That'd be a good thing too.
Listen to this very closely. If any Xbox representative, if you know anybody, or or if these executives are watching, people in the marketing department, hence you yourself, Aaron Greenberg, if you should be checking out this show. Here's a great advertising idea for you coming into the holiday season. Be in as many places as you can and advertise the crap at a Game Pass. I know you're going to say, okay, that's a no-brainer, Newf. But here's how you do it. It's not just what you say, it's how you say it and who you say it to. And what I mean by that is, you need a big ad that goes, this Christmas, why just play one game on your list when you can literally play hundreds of games on your list, all for this low price on this console, on your PC, on your phone. Xbox Game Pass. Get it. It's everywhere. It's in your home. Get like something like that, you know what I mean? That really drives it home.
I think you should make a fan video of that. That sounded awesome,
right? Yeah, like just like that, man. Xbox is everywhere. That's it. And this is all you need for the one low price, $14.99. You don't need to play one game this holiday season. You can play hundreds. Boom. How does that sound?
All there.
Huh? That's like a buffet for the people right there, and the parents that are on a budget. Well, that's the ones you got to be speaking to. Parents that go, man, I can't really afford to get you those games this year, little Johnny. Well, yes, you can, Mom. You just got to get me some Game Pass, and I can play them all. Huh?
That sounded awesome to me. Like, no joke. I think you should definitely make your own parody video of it, or your own little self-advertising of it. That was awesome.
There you go.
Or what you do is you get the voice of Master Chief.
Yes, wouldn't that be awesome? Want to play Halo Infinite this Christmas? Want to play the
next? Not even too long ago, the guy that voiced Overkill. So he could even do it too.
Xbox,
oh yeah, that would be good.
Game Pass.
What about the movie trailer show guy? He's all like, "This Christmas, coming to a device
coming
near
to
you."
an Xbox.
Darth Praxis could do that for us.
Or hire me to do Arnold Schwarzenegger. Right there you go. Come on, you gotta get the Xbox Game Pass this year. You can play. Why play one game when you can play hundreds of games? I'm never bored. I'm never broke. I always got the money. I got the games. It's right here. Xbox Game Pass. You can do it on your PC. You can do it on your little cell phone, and you can also do it on your Xbox. It don't matter how you play. We're here to stay. Xbox Game Pass, get it. $14.99.
Flex those games.
All right.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think we
You
beat that
don't
limit.
need games. You need games.
Go get Game Pass. Do it.
By the way, it is interesting to me you brought up the storefront thing, because I actually had forgotten about that. I actually did a whole article on that whole, when they first made that announcement that they're doing exactly what I said they were going to do, and I can show you. They're being more prominent. They're being, Xbox. You go into the store, you see Xbox. You know. That's why they bought those. That's why they bought into GameStop. That's exactly why they did it.
Allows forever get to the Xbox now.
Yeah, because PlayStation was more prominent because it has been shown that you're paying for that storefront area to get that main storefront when you walk in the door and have the PlayStation sitting right there and the games. They're paying for that space to get that.
And going back to my original article, I pointed out that right before they did that with GameStop or whoever, they have closed all the Microsoft stores worldwide.
Yes.
But by buying into GameStop, all of a sudden they had all these, not only in the U.S. and Canada, but all over the world. Hundreds upon hundreds of stores.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So that was their plan all along.
That specialize in that too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Totally. Yeah, because when you walk into a GameStop or an EB Games up here in Canada, that's what you're going in for. Typically, you're going in for games, right? I mean, obviously, they're making a lot of money now on the whole toys and collectible aspect of things, and that's cool. I mean, whatever helps keep the doors open, at the end of the day. But at the end of the day, it's still a game store, and that's, I think, primarily what people go in looking for is their latest, greatest games. And you see the ads and you see the promotional stuff, and it's good. Dragonheart Yobi's in the chat, guys. What's up, Dragonheart? Peace, love, life. Mr. Man himself's in the chat. He says, good morning, everyone. Great to see everyone in the chat and on the panel. Thank you for being here. Shout out to Nurse and Grandpa. Peace,
That's
love,
me.
life.
That's me. Yeah.
You're all changing the world day by day. Soon you'll see. Thank you. Thank you, Dragonheart Yobi, for the $10 super chat, man. Appreciate that, and thanks for being here. Rick Payne, what's up, brother? How you doing? We got Bzz and Cool. I know I don't pronounce that right, but that's what it looks like in the chat. Bzz and Cool. Well, how you doing? Lethal Terminus is here. Fastback, our NLG brother, he's in the house. What's going on, Fastback? Who else we got here? Like I said, Dirk Briggity, RG Viper, Felix. What's going on, guys? Yes, go ahead, Paul.
Yeah. RG Viper, GameStop is no longer going out of business. That was part of the deal with Xbox. Xbox basically became their back pocket. So that you won't see GameStop going out of business anytime soon. I can almost guarantee that.
Yeah.
Stonks.
Restructuring possibly, but definitely not shutting down. Yeah.
Yes, they're gonna this help them go a couple more years before they're back to maybe in trouble. So we'll just see how long this partnership works.
I honestly think that Microsoft put themselves in a position to make this the new quote Microsoft store.
Yes.
Basically. Yeah.
Why create a storefront when you can buy a storefront?
Yeah,
correct. Exactly.
Yeah, the key moving forward for them is just how aggressively or how they're going to transition the whole digital landscape in that, right? Because storefronts are going to change pretty soon. It's going to be very little physical and a lot more going in and buying a card or whatever. So the stores are largely going to be for console space or something like that. A lot of those different things.
What's funny is the collectible space that you mentioned that they're doing a lot more of. That's what comic book stores have started to do too, because comics have gone digital. Mm-hmm. So if you used to go to your comic book store, that used to be a big place to go hang out. Now it's mostly all about the collectibles, the cards, the statues, the posters. It's not about the comics themselves.
My 20-sided die.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there you go.
A large part of that is because comic book sales have been plummeting for years.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but part of that, nobody reads comics anymore, at least not in the
They do. Actually, it's the Japanese market. Those are the ones that are selling big, and it's Western comics that are tanking.
Well, they're just not visible like
Western comics don't have a cohesive story. In Japanese comics, when a character dies, he's either A, dead for good, or B, when they bring him back, there's like a good story plot to bring him back. Mm-hmm. In Western comics, Batman dies and, no, he didn't. That was like somewhere else. There's no cohesiveness to Western comics whereas
But the
Japanese
Lazarus
comics
scroll is
have a
4.
beginning and an end for the most part.
Yeah, but those I'm sorry. I mean, you keep saying it. Japanese comics. We're not going to become a Japanese culture. I mean, you guys think they're great. I don't find those stories that engaging.
Yeah.
In fact, a lot of times I find them rather confusing.
Yeah.
Because they go all kinds of out there sometimes.
They do, but Marvel and DC are going down, 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 and they're going higher and higher and higher. So
Well, no, that's not fair, because Marvel and DC is switching to a more movie format, TV format, entertainment format than they are a comic book format. Because higher, higher, higher in comics, that's fine, but you're talking to somebody who used to have literally 20,000 comic books. That used to be worth a lot of money, and all that worth is no longer there. I mean, like
Nowadays.
any collectible, you have to know when the market starts to
Yeah,
shift.
but I think part of the Western, the thing is the visibility of these days. Of course, the digital landscape has changed things too, because now you can read comics online. And I think biggest thing is, when was the last time you guys can recall a major comic book character breaking new ground, like coming out and blowing the doors off and going, wow. Like, because honestly, everybody's always, it's after all
Miles
these years,
Morales.
Miles Morales and perhaps Spawn. But outside of them two, well, when was the last time you saw characters that just really like, okay, this one's going to gravitate and stick? Like, we haven't really seen that. And they're still growing, you know what I mean? But like a lot of them have not.
A huge part of that, though, is when it comes to the Western comics, we don't make new characters. We've been bleeding dry the same ones for the last 50 plus years. Whereas Japan, they make new ones all the time, and that's why they keep getting new hot things.
Exactly.
Fact. How many times has Batman fought the Joker now?
Right, exactly.
And I can go back to Batman because Batman is the only comic book I read, and so I know that one. So I'm only speaking on what I know.
Yeah. Felix says The Boys, but was The Boys a comic book or was that?
Yes,
straight
it was.
TV show?
Yeah,
it's very
Okay. Yeah,
but
The
Boys was actually a DC comic book, but DC sold them off because they didn't want the, Homelander, who is basically Superman, to be evil. They didn't like the optics of it, so they sold it off.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Okay.
And now look, they missed on the gold mine.
Yeah, though Terry definitely has a good point though, and I think that's a large part of it is just that it feels stagnant. Like there's only so many times you can see the same old characters fighting the same old bad guys, et cetera, et cetera. Batman has had so many iterations now, it's not even funny. He's been a samurai, he's been like, it's all over the board. Like it's like they're throwing darts at a board and just hoping that something sticks, that sort of thing. So
well, like with a lot of things, what they're doing, and it's annoying, is they're trying to see what's popular and then jumping onto that gravy train. And instead of driving the train, they're trying to ride along with it, which never works out.
Well, awesome conversation. I can't believe how this has turned into a comic book thing, but that's awesome. I love these organic conversations.
That's right.
We got some more great topics, but first, let's check in with Terry. Terry, I'd say we're about at the halfway point of the show, so if you'd like to do your indie spotlight, and then go for it. I'll let you set it up here.
This one, I'm gonna kind of stretch it because
stretch.
I want to cover like the whole game universe for this. There's a lot of games in the universe, and I don't want to just pick one game in like the series. I kind of want to just get them all, So bear with me, everybody. All right, so let me get my screen shared over here, and hopefully the volume is good. I don't want to blast anyone's eardrums out. Okay, so I'm going to be showing you guys, a series that kind of really, really got me into indie gaming, and it's called Trine, and it's been around for a very long time. The first part this collection is going to show all 4 games in the series, and then I'm also going to show the spin-off game that takes place in the same universe, and it's kind of more of like a prequel. And they're different play styles. But here, let me go ahead and show you what Trine is real quick. I just absolutely love these games. Hopefully the volume's good. Let's pause it there real quick. So
Mhm.
this is for all 4 games, and this is available on PC, Xbox, Nintendo Switch, PlayStation. It's everywhere. PC, you can actually piece it out and buy the games individually if you want to. Console, you have to buy them on the collection. You can't get them separate. So this is the only way you can get them on console. Basically, the Trine series is a side-scrolling 2.5D puzzle adventure game. You play 3 different characters. You can also do co-op if you want a buddy to to play with. You can do that. You have your 3 characters. You have your wizard right there. His name is Amadeus, and he has a great ability where he can materialize different objects for you. You can either have him make different size boxes or different size like planks to use to make bridges and things. So you have to manipulate the world so you guys can kind of continue to navigate. You have Zoya. She's going to have magical arrows as well as a grappling hook so you can traverse. And then you have Pontius, the knight. So he's going to be more of your combat guy, as well as he has a magical shield that has different abilities as well to help you do things. And it's a lot of fun. I highly recommend it. Like I said, it does have co-op. Now, this is made by Frozen Byte, who is my all-time favorite indie developer, because nobody else can compare when it comes to making worlds that are very vibrant and colorful. Nobody. I would say that Nintendo has started to, try to compete with it with Breath of the Wild when it comes to, colorful worlds. But no, they've been doing this way before Nintendo even started, tipping their toes in the water. So no, these guys, the worlds. If I go back real quick, I just kind of go back real quick.
Mhm.
They do a lot of like bioluminescence and stuff. So like look at this. Like it's
Right.
absolutely beautiful. This is like for at night, and then earlier in. Like look at this.
Yeah.
And this picture really isn't doing it justice. When you play this game on PC, the colors are so bright and vibrant and beautiful. Like literally when I play these games, I just sit there in awe. Like no games ever make me sit there in awe at how beautiful they are. And like I said, Nintendo is as good as Nintendo is. They're not on this level yet, in my opinion. Like it's just absolutely stunning when you play these games. They're beautiful. So I highly recommend you check these out. And then real quick, I'm going to show you guys the spin-off game that they have. And real quick, this collection retails for $50.
Mm-hmm.
But Steam right now has it 75% off. So if you want to buy the complete collection on PC, you can get it for $17. All right. You might be able to find like a used version or something like that, for console to maybe get it cheap. But otherwise, it's $50 retail. And then the other game, real quick, which is the spin-off. Let me switch screens really fast. I believe it's right tab. Is 9 Parchments. I'll show you this one real quick.
Dear Mum and Dad, there was an incident at school, which is why I'm going on an adventure. The Astral Academy's magical spells have gone missing, and I'm going to recover them. Not to worry, some other students are coming with me. Maybe. We're going after some very powerful spells, so I hope by the time I get back, I'll be an amazing wizard. I can't wait until I can see you again, so I can tell you all about the adventure. Shimmering beaches, the freezing tundra, beautiful valleys.
But look at that
rugged
vibrancy in
highlands.
those colors, man. It's so beautiful.
Not to mention the humongous monsters. I'll make you both proud by collecting all my 9 parchments. See you soon, I hope. Cornelius.
that's Nine Parchments. Now this one is 4-player co-op, and it's a twin stick shooter style game, and it's a lot of fun. And this one, like I said, is more of a prequel to Trine. This one kind of shows you, how they, do like the wizard schooling, and you play as different students and things like that. And it's a fantastic game. I really really enjoyed playing through all of them. But like I say, when it comes to the worlds, like they're so bright and beautiful and stunning, and they have and their water, and someone coming from like a game development side, their water physics are just amazing. Like their water's so clear, and it's just yeah. I can't help but not just sit there and like fangirl over like the littlest things, because I have not seen a single developer out there, especially in the AAA space, that does this. Not a single one. And this is a small developer, and I think they're in Sweden, and it's just absolutely beautiful. I highly recommend these games. Nine Parchments retails for $20, but also this is also part of the Steam sale right now, so you can get this one on Steam for $5. And then by the way, yeah, $20 on console, unless you find a sale.
That's amazing. Of all the indie games perhaps ever, and I'm not kidding, like that I've always been tempted to buy, and I can't figure out for the life of me why I never pulled the trigger, it's probably the Trine series. Ever since the first one came out, I was like, this game looks really cool, and I've watched numerous videos, and I've seen it, and it's been on the Nintendo store in particular, like so many sales on the Trine series on the Nintendo Switch, and I'm like, yeah, maybe I'm going to pull the trigger. Never did. I don't know why. And now you bring this up, I'm like, maybe it's in the air that I should be picking up this game. Titan Drago's in the house.
How do you spell the name of the game?
Trine. Trine.
Yeah, Trine.
Thank you.
Trine is this magical source that basically good and evil are fighting to possess, and so that's what it's about.
It's funny. I'm sorry, go ahead, Terry. I apologize.
I want to argue with someone in the chat that's saying that Nintendo had vibrant worlds. Yes, I'm not saying Nintendo doesn't have vibrant worlds, but they do not compare when it comes to color and stuff like that. They do not. They do not even come close.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think the one thing you can see from the Trine series is it does elements of sort of a stylization of graphics, but yet sort of realism too, right?
Realism? I mean, I guess, yeah.
Like there's a certain style, like you look at that pirate ship and you look at the characters, they don't look like they're super over accentuated. Like everything that Nintendo does is generally colorful, but very cartoonish.
Yeah, I mean, the art style and the stuff for the game does develop over time. When it if you're comparing Trine 1 to 4, for example, 1 was a lot more of like your 2D going, just like your simple side scroll. But then by the time you get to Trine 4, it's way more 3D-ish, and your perspectives change. You have more free roam. You're not just side scrolling anymore. You can actually move around a lot more. Kind of like how you saw like in Nine Parchments, you were moving all around freely. You weren't side scrolling anymore. So it's definitely evolved over time. And as they keep going, the games just keep getting more and more beautiful, and the puzzle stuff is a lot of fun, because especially if you're playing with a friend. I do recommend playing Trine with a friend, because the way your brain is going to problem solve is going to be completely different than playing it solo. An example is you can make a plank and have your friend stand on that plank, and you can like raise them up and have them do stuff. If you're playing solo, you can't do that at all. So now your whole game changes. You're playing a completely different game if you're playing it solo. So it's fantastic.
Nice. It's good to know. There you go, guys.
Oh, I have something to say for that one. I have to agree with Terry, because I do have the whole collection and Nine Parchment, and I play all of them except
yes, dude. You just make me happy.
So, no, that's why when you actually showed it, I kind of brought a smile on my face again, because I remember I beat the first one, but not the second one yet. And the colors are very it pops. It really, really pops. And the physics on that is so precise when you're trying to do your puzzles. You have to be very precise. And yes, it is a twin stick game. It is really good. Nine Parchment is another one, and I actually do recommend it. I really do. I really do. It's really, really good. I love it. But I have it on the Switch though.
Well, hold on. I have a question, Terry. So I'm looking at Trine on Steam right now, and I noticed that Trine 4 has something called a DLC called the Melody of Mystery. Now, you know I'm a sucker for epic soundtracks. Talk to me about the soundtrack of Trine.
Oh my gosh, Trine is beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. Yeah, I recommend it.
Does it compare to Ori or something similar, or
it's its own thing? I would say if anything, look on YouTube for some samples.
Not like Ori.
But no, their music is beautiful. It's fitting. You know, it has kind of like that enchanted kind of like sound. It's really nice.
Okay. I'm gonna have to check this out now because I'm a sucker for indie games that are done well. It's rated well, but I'm even more of a sucker if they have a great soundtrack. Like,
it's very
that Miami game, Hotline Miami, had a great soundtrack. You know, Ori obviously has one of the greatest soundtracks ever made. So yeah, I'm a sucker for good games with good soundtracks.
I'm like, it's very old, stylish soundtrack. Like, or Lord, the first thing comes to mind is Lord of the Rings because that's how it is. But the soundtrack is really, really good. But the visuals, man, it will attract you.
It's just very, very impressive because the Frozen Byte is not a very large team, and every game that they come out with is just fantastically done. And I actually had the privilege of talking to someone that works at Frozen Byte, and like the passion they put into these games, like it shows. And someone is still trying to argue with me with Nintendo, and I'm like, look, I'm not saying that they created this form. I'm not saying any of that. I'm saying they did it best. All right? They did it best. Nobody compares. I don't care if someone technically did it, 20 years ago. No one does it as good as Frozen Byte. You're not going to change my mind. All right?
Yeah.
They do not compare. They do not compare. All right. Shaddai, have you played Breath of the Wild?
A little bit.
And that's a pretty bright, colorful game, right?
I'd rather say I could say it's close to Wind Waker. You know what I mean? It's like the same graphics.
So when you look at the coloring for those games compared to like Trine and them, you know what I mean? How there's no comparison.
It's night and day. It's two different things.
See, exactly. So stop it. Stop it in the chat. Stop it.
Yeah, it's two different things.
All right, but anyway, guys, yes, go check out Trine Collection. It's awesome. Go play those games as Terry recommends, and her recommendations are spot on each and every week. All right, let's catch up with the chat real quick. Like I said, my good buddy Titan Drago's in the chat. Quiet is just here. Crispy Rambo, what's going on? Dan the Man Cunningham, how are you doing today? Masshole is hanging out with us. Shizno Elite is in the house. What's happening? Lethal Terminus is here. Man, we got like 45 awesome people in the house watching this show right now. That is amazing. Royal Boyle 78, how are you? New Type Gunpla, what is going on? Wow, we got a great crew here today. Maddie Burns is in the house. Yes, I knew I saw Maddie there. There you go. Yeah. Good crew, man. Good crew. Love to see you guys here. Thank you for being with us early on a Sunday morning. Well, it's early for most of us. It's probably getting closer to lunchtime for the rest. But yeah. But anyway, man, good stuff here.
You got to do. Timmy is in the house.
Oh yes, Timmy. What's up, Timmy? All right, guys, good stuff. Let's get to the next topic because I got a feeling we might be very opinionated on the next one. It's something we have definitely seen in the community, and it happens more so during and subsequently following the launch of the consoles. Actually, I think in this last generation of consoles, this might have been more prevalent than ever before, simply because we had a mid-generation refresh right in the middle, which was unprecedented, that sort of thing like that. And what I'm talking about is just, really, how tired are you guys of this, the constant tech comparisons about Xbox and PlayStation, and overall who's driving this narrative? Is it the YouTubers, the fanboys, and do the majority of gamers really give up? Bleep. At the end of the day, that's what it comes down to. I want to know how you feel about this. Why is it a constant thing? Is this just a bragging right? Because at the end of the day, you can play amazing games on the least powerful console with the Switch. You can play amazing games on your PlayStation 5, your PlayStation 4, your Xbox Series X and S and your Xbox. Like great games are great games. Sure, some run a little bit better. You can play them on your phone. Some look a little better. Some play a little bit better. But overall, I think as long as it's not broken, and the game is downright unplayable, where it chugs or has really game breaking glitches. I mean, how important is it to this panel, to the chat? And are you just kind of at this point just getting really tired of it? Like, you almost want to mute these people, because I'm at the point now where every time I see something about frames per second and resolution, I'm like, you know what? I'm like a second away from starting to unfollow people, because this shit's starting to get on my nerves. Like, play the effing games, people, and stop magnifying glass everything that comes out. It's really not necessary. I'm sorry, but it's getting kind of stupid. And you know what? Yeah, one system gets the 120 frames rate when they basically take out all the bells and whistles. You hit 120 frames. The other one does it with everything going flat out. You know what I mean? Like, it's all this stuff. But anyway, let's take it away. And I'm going to go random here. Whoever wants to jump in and give you 2 cents worth.
Real quick, Digital Foundry pushes this narrative, and it pushes it, and it drives the fanboys. That it's all Digital Foundry. They're the only ones who talk about this crap. You know.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Every single video is, look at the frame rate. Oh, it dropped from 120 to 123. Oh, that's bad. Or 120 to 115. Oh, that's not noticeable. Nobody notices that shit. Okay. No, nobody goes, oh my God. Now, if it drops from 120 to 60, yeah, you're probably going to notice that on your screen. But if it does that, there's bigger problems. So, but they drive it, and I hate to say this, it's not usually the Xbox side that's picking it up and running with it. It's usually the other side that's picking it up and running with it, and making all kinds of videos of how, and I don't care. And I see this stuff hit my wall every once in a while. I don't respond to most of it, but every once in a while, if there's just a piece of flat out wrong information, I will speak up. But for the most part, I'm tired of it. I do not, I've only been into this as deep as I am for the last couple of years. Digital Foundry, I was always told, oh, they're a great source. They're not a great source. They're pushing narrative, and they're pushing for clicks, and half the time I know enough to know that, especially the old guy, doesn't know what the hell he's talking about half the time. He's repeating crap he's heard, and it's like he can't back it up. It's like, what are you talking about? And I've watched them compare, and then I watched this video just the other day, just for fun. They were talking about, I forget what new game it was, and how it now compares on the 2 consoles and PC. And they're like, man, you just cannot beat a PC for performance. And I'm thinking, no shit. Why are we even trying to compare what a top of the line PC can do that you guys own, compared to what the 2 consoles can do that are locked to what they, I can't improve my console. I can improve my PC. That's not a comparison. That's just not a fair comparison. So yeah, I think they're driving the narrative. I think they need to go away.
I just think most of us should be damn happy that for the first time in a very long time, we all have consoles capable now of giving what we call at least good to almost amazing PC level performance in a box that costs probably 1/3 of the price as most of these PCs are to run those games at that. And, like I said, you get to sit down and play, if you're lucky enough, to play these games on a big TV, not a 20-inch monitor or a 32-inch monitor, like 70-inch, 80-inch, 90-inch freaking 4K television sets. I mean, how cool is that,
It's a lot of fanboy stuff, which is like the 1% of Twitter. It's always like the loud minorities.
Wow,
and that's what it is.
1% must be awful large then.
It's just it goes on all sides. I mean, I've heard on all sides. With even Xbox. I mean, when the Series X was announced, all the Xbox fanboys were going on about 12 teraflops this, 12 teraflops this, and it's like, you don't even know what teraflops are. Stop.
But a lot of times I noticed they do that in response to Sony. If they would ignore the Sony boys, you wouldn't see that shit.
Fanboys aren't going to ignore each other; they thrive off each other. So that's not going to happen. But even the PC elitists do the same thing though too, because they like to tout about how great the stuff is. But majority of the people who have PC don't have 3080s. They're running a 10 series or lower for graphics cards. So they're not getting all that high spec either, but they want to brag about it like they have it, and the people that are bragging about it probably don't even have it. They're probably playing on a 1080 just like I am. It's just ridiculous. It's just they just want to brag about stuff, and a lot of them don't even have it.
Yeah, I definitely believe that. Um, Talking about specs and consoles are great and all, but in the beginning, it's more of just to show off and for marketing, especially since we really don't have hardly any games that are set specifically to the new consoles. There's nothing that's been just really specced out, been set with the dev kits for the PS5 and then the Series X or S only. So a lot of this stuff won't mean anything until we get a couple of years down in the generation. And then if you want to sit there and say, oh, maybe, look, this runs better, look, this, because all we're looking at right now is basically optimization. What can you optimize the best with your console to make this one game look better? Because most of this has all been set up or at least started on your old architecture. So when people are coming out, oh, this game looks better on a PlayStation, but it has a lower spec than an Xbox. But when we're looking at specs too, a lot of people point out one thing: oh, this is better than you. Our teraflops are higher than yours, and yours are lower. Well, it's not just the teraflops; it's everything in your console. It's also your software, your hardware coming all together to maximize the best in a game. So when we're taking out one number and then using that to make an argument, it's not a good faith argument. You're just pointing out one thing to say is better. It's just like say, well, I have blue eyes and you have
Yeah.
brown eyes. So because I have blue eyes, I must be prettier than you. But you might say, somebody might say, well, the rest of your face looks like crap. So
Yeah.
it's just you're pointing out one thing, saying anytime someone goes dressing out to go on their night out of town and want to show off, what you're going to do, you're going to accentuate your best feature. That's all these consoles are doing as far as with this, accentuating the best feature. But later down the line, we're going to find out how pretty you are on the outside and the inside. So a lot of this stuff just needs to chill, but somebody has to have something to do when you are on a side. Yeah, this is an Xbox centric show, but I have other consoles just like everybody else on the panel has other consoles. We're not just, oh, we're only Xbox, this is this. You got to have the wide variety to be a well-rounded person. So a lot of this is I need something to do. I'm on Twitter. Nobody knows who I am. There's just a little picture. I can say whatever I want to. There won't be really any backlash to it. Or I just want it there so I can try to get popular. So it's just a mess. We won't see the consoles, how great they are. And even if you have one console that's greater than the other, it's all about the games and the experience. You could have the best Ferrari in the world. If your engine has thrown two pistons in there, it doesn't matter how pretty it looks, the sucker
Yeah.
won't run. So that's what I have on that.
Yeah, that's a great point because like I said, it's a lot of it too comes down to developers. Like you can have the best hardware, but if you don't have a developer who knows how to maximize the engine, and we saw that because look at the Unreal Engine, right? When Epic Games was making games with the Unreal Engine, obviously it's their engine, they came up with it. But you notice how much differently and how much more they pushed the envelope with the engine than other creators that used it because they obviously didn't understand it as well. And we saw other games that came out with the Unreal Engine that looked decent, but they just never quite lived up to say like the Gears of War quality, that sort of thing, and you see this all the time, right? It's all about maximizing your hardware. The fact that a developer can get a game like The Witcher 3 to even run on a Switch is practically a miracle, and it runs, and you know what, it runs well enough to play it. It's not PC quality. There's a lot of sacrifices made, but I think that's the thing. When you buy a Switch and you go in with those games, you automatically go in thinking, it's like, you know what, you're just happy to have the game running at some form, and are happy as long as it's not absolutely complete, like unplayable. If it's decent, you just kind of go, great, I can play it. There's a few frame rate drops. There's a resolution dip. There's obviously textures that are missing or cut out to make the game run. But at the end of the day, everything's not always about graphics either. And there's a lot of AI architecture. There's a lot of things that go underneath the hood, computing power too, that the average gamer does not even think about. They just think about how pretty something looks on the screen. And you also talk like, comparing like an apple to an orange. Like you can't compare, say, a game like Mario, for example, to something like Uncharted. They're both amazingly graphically good games in their own right. I mean, Mario Odyssey looks absolutely phenomenal on the Switch. But again, it's an art style. And you get this a lot of times, when the fanboys like to try to make a tech argument, but they never compare an apple to an orange. If you're going to compare Tomb Raider to Uncharted, games with a very similar premise, very similar art style and graphic style. That's what you do. Pair Forza to Gran Turismo. You know what I mean? You're going to pair Mario perhaps to Sonic, something along that line. So it's kind of got to be in that realm that uses very similar art styles to properly compare. Go ahead, Axel, Eternal.
Yeah, sorry. I didn't know I wasn't muted. You've been hearing me type this whole time. Sorry about that. This is a hot topic for me, mainly because I was there on the school bus during the Sega Genesis Super Nintendo days, saying words like blast processing, even though I had no idea what blast processing actually was. So I used to be a fanboy when I was in middle school. And it was a playground thing, and it was fun. But at the end of the day, I still played a Nintendo, Super Nintendo at my friend's house. I just decided to go Sega because that's what I owned, and that's what it came down to. Now I'm an adult with access to adult money, and if I want to play a game, it really makes no difference what console it's on. It could be on PC, it could be on Xbox, it could be on Nintendo, it could be on anything. If I really, really, really want to play a game, I'm gonna play it. Here's the thing. Digital Foundry, going back to Paul's Digital Foundry thing, they basically brought benchmarking to the console. So benchmarking on the PC, if you're a PC gamer, the reason you did benchmarking was to know what kind of game settings to put on the games you had. You could turn on and off anti-aliasing, you could set your resolutions, you could set your bloom effects back in the days, all that good stuff. And to know what your PC could do so you could optimize your game experience, you would run a benchmark. That was never really an issue with consoles. Consoles were already pre-benchmarked. They already had the settings all set up. And Digital Foundry said, well, what if we benchmark and created all these tools to benchmark every single game on every single console? And it's brought out this whole 300 times zoom, this foliage, this has more grass than that grass, or, you can definitely see that this bullet flying by is drawn with a choppy line instead of a straight line because of no reason. And I'm just thinking to myself, nobody plays games in stills. Nobody. These games are moving fast at 60 frames per second now, 120 on some of them. Nobody in their right mind is going to notice these things that Digital Foundry is pointing out. It goes back to, I'm going to use Craig, the Halo meme.
Yeah.
The Internet Warriors, here's a presentation that was given to us at 60 frames per second, and I thought the gameplay looked awesome. Yeah, you could see the pop-in, but overall the gameplay of Halo looked great, which is what matters, the gameplay.
Right.
And these guys, the internet always wins. These guys found the one frame of Craig looking bad flying through the screen. That's some dedication. Yeah. But if you really look at it, you don't notice it.
Yeah, but that's what I'm talking about.
No, you don't notice it at all.
That level of dissection has gotten to the point now where it's just like, it just blows my mind. You know what I mean?
Yes, exactly. So the console fanboying of, choose my plastic box because this game runs at one frame better than the other, or choose my plastic box because of higher resolution. We're the day and age of dynamic resolution, frame drops. We've always been on the frame drop era. I'm going to use one of my favorite games, Mega Man. Mega Man had so much frame loss and so much slowdown that you could play that game in slow motion at points. but it was still a great game.
Yep.
Because that didn't matter. The overall game was still great, and it still doesn't matter. The overall games are still great.
The only people who should be using those tools are the developers. When there is a massive frame drop for whatever reason, and be it Red Dead Redemption or whatever, or Cyberpunk, then yeah, they need to see that and go, okay, why is this happening here, and can we fix this? You know,
Yeah.
that's the only reason
Yeah.
those tools should ever be utilized.
Yeah.
You know?
And Digital Foundry, I've had conversations with Alex Linderman. They say that the reason they do this is for the developers to address it. Stuff like on Dirt 5 had the polygonal headlights on the Xbox version that was later patched. But in reality, that didn't affect the gameplay at all. It had zero effect. I did not once, while I was racing, look backwards to look. Oh, my headlights polygonal looking instead of round.
Yeah.
I look to see who's behind me.
They know
It had zero effect on it.
Like those two, I do have a lot of respect for Digital Foundry, despite other people that can't stand them, because I have a lot of respect for the fact they actually know what they're talking about. They do know what these tech terms actually mean and how they are implemented in games, But they're also smart enough to know exactly as well what sells, and we see this all the time, because when they highlight something that seems to be pro Xbox, then all of a sudden the Xbox guys are like, yeah, right, and then of course the moment it goes the opposite way, the PlayStation guys are like, yeah, we told you that 12 teraflop machine can't do crap. It goes both ways, right? But they know what they're doing. Like they know how to, especially Linneman. Not led, but Linneman more so, because he's a little more active with social media, and he knows how to sort of aggravate a fan base by doing things in a certain light. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And whatever. I mean, whatever works for him. Obviously, when he does sometimes get called out, he obviously blocks and ignores or does whatever. So. Just before I let you finish your thought, let me just catch up with a couple of super chats before they go out of screen. Shane Tomlin is in the house. What's going on, Shane? Good to see you here today. Just to support, I'll catch the rest later. Great show, but not as great as Game Pass. Oh, yes, I'm still going there. And then we get down to Mr. Caper Grant, who drops $10 Canadian up in here. Just wanted to say, great show. Look forward to it every Sunday. Keep up the great work, everyone. You all bring something great to the show. I love that. Thank you for recognizing that, Caper. That's what we're going for. And anyway, back to Axel.
Yeah. And I'm going to use some differences here. When we went from SD TVs to HD TVs, everybody could see the difference. Like, it was a massive upgrade. Newf, I know you're a movie guy. I know you could see the difference between SD and HD.
Oh, totally.
When we went from HD to UHD, you really couldn't see the difference too much unless you had a massive screen. But what you could see was the HDR implementation. I think HDR was a bigger implementation than anything else, especially on an OLED. So I think, when I bought an Xbox One X, it was 4K and all that stuff. What really made the difference was actually the HDR. That HDR implementation was phenomenal. And then they added Dolby Atmos 5.1. I'm a music guy. I'm a sound guy. I love playing with high-tech things. That makes a huge difference, and it's something that the competition was missing. Those are the selling points of the plastic box that get me. The 300 times zoom, the foliage here, the pause screens really don't matter to me, because the gameplay has to be on point of what I'm gaming. And graphics, as we found out earlier, I keep looking at these screenshots. It looks amazing. It looks good. Graphics don't have to be ultra realistic all the time for video games, and they shouldn't be. I love Cuphead. Cuphead has that 1930s art style, that there's no HDR on it, there's no 4K on it, but man, it's one of the best looking games I've ever played. And like I said, now these days I have adult money. If I want to play something that's released on your plastic box exclusively, you're not really that exclusive. I can just go buy it. It's not like, oh, Xbox guys are missing out, or Nintendo guys don't know what they're talking about, or PlayStation fanboys are dumb. No, you're not that exclusive. You're not really holding on to the holy grail of anything, because anybody can get it. If you want it, go buy it. I mean, it's a little hard right now, but eventually, go buy it. So the whole fanboy thing is just, it's dead on me. I don't get it. I know they live in their echo chamber of what would I call it? Their little wins, their little W's, but they're not really W's because you didn't win anything. Like, what did you win?
Clicks.
You're arguing to yourself
They
with
want
the
clicks.
same group of people.
Well, actually, it's funny that you say that, Axel, because constantly, I mean, literally, constantly, I be debating with a lot of the friends of mine. A lot of them are PCs, and majority of the time, they'll say how companies are blindsiding the consumers because instead of us getting a PC, they're giving you something that is not fully powered. We're just getting, like they call it, sorry to say it like that, half-ass consoles instead of having PCs. So that's something that I be having a lot of conversation with my friend. And I'm like, well, I don't want to go too much of a detail, but it goes with the conversation, with the question on how tired. Sometimes I am tired of talking about tech, which I don't know too much about tech, but the thing is, like any consumer, you want what is best for you, but remember, depending on the price what they're asking. You usually, I know this is a little bit different. It's like when you trying to buy a car, you have all the different models, but you want the one that is the best, the one that gives you everything, the ones that you know you're gonna use all of it. What does that have to do with the console? For me, I really care as a consumer because first I want to know what is under the hood and if it's gonna be utilized. Because I know I wrote it on my notes, and I know it's two different games, but there's a reason why I chose those. I'm like, for example, I wrote Rise Son of Rome versus Recore. Why those two games? There are two different games, but it's on the treatment that the studios use the system, if you know what I mean. It's just that Crytek knew how to use the Xbox and created Rise, and you can tell that for something that it was on the power, it was created I'm not gonna say perfectly, but let's say perfectly compared to Recore. We're talking about two exclusive games, but it was treated differently. They utilized the studio, like Newf said. They utilized the actual raw power of the system. So you really want to know what the system is capable of and how the studio can utilize that for us to say, like, wow, you know what? They actually utilize the raw power that came from the system. So I'm with Paul. So a lot of you guys said what I actually wrote, how the studios use the raw power, all that, but also because of the price of the steep price, and also that comparison of the PC and the console. It's common sense. Like you guys said, we already know the PC. You guys already said it, so I don't have to repeat that. But for me, I have to pay attention to it, especially when I'm trying to buy something on my budget. What is gonna come? How is the studio gonna utilize that raw power? For how they're gonna utilize that for their game to be released, and how it's gonna make us engage for that system. So I actually do pay attention to those things. So, and fanboys are the one who create those, like you guys say, journalists, just to put gas on the fire and make whatever, little things big.
Yeah.
There's also the we have this backwards narrative too as gamers. The gamers keep pushing the resolution narrative, and I spoke to a lot of game developers, and resolution should never be top priority when they're making a game. It's a detriment to their game, but they're forced to make resolution the priority, because then you see all the time gamers will go, well, if that game is less than 1080p, I'm not playing it, or if that game doesn't have 4K, I'm not playing it. And it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous because it's not the direction you should be. Resolution is not the thing we should be focusing on when it comes to game design. But that's what everybody wants because the TV companies keep pushing. Well, now we have the new 4K TVs. Samsung's already touting 8K for some stupid reason. So it makes no sense. And so gamers think, oh, I want the new big TV, so I have to have games that have that resolution. But that's not how it works. All right. So it's just backwards narrative that people are pushing. And it's a detriment to gaming, and developers hate it because resolution is the worst thing they should be focusing on when there's more important things.
Oh, well, that's the thing. The bulk of the eyes on their product are average fans who don't even know what ray tracing is or how it's implemented in a game. The average fan who picks up a game, whether it's on Switch or Xbox or whatever, they're not sitting there going, is the ray tracing on in this game? Because, the puddles and reflections don't look right. Nobody really says that. It's only the real techie, the real high-end people. I mean, obviously at the day, ray tracing, reflections, textures, they all make games, especially games that are striving for photorealism. They obviously make them look a lot better. Like, obviously when they implement them correctly, we see the difference it makes. I mean, go back and look at a racing game from back in the day to a racing game now. Look how good Forza Horizon 5 is looking. It's unbelievable, and that is the result of having hardware and engines that can push that level of fidelity. And that is important to me. Graphics are at the be all end all, but when it comes to immersion, when it comes to breaking the barrier between game and reality, the games that are striving for that benefit from that hardware. There's no question about it. And I think the Xbox Series X in particular has not even seen even close to seeing its potential.
No.
I think hopefully, and this is what my hope is, that one of the studios, whether it's the Initiative or whoever it might be, or perhaps it'll be Epic Game or the Coalition with whatever their next game might be, that actually brings out that game that really sort of kind of ends that little debate as a little bit. It's just like, this is what this hardware is capable of. And you guys can break it down all you want. We see this all the time. We see really mixed mashed comparisons of games. I really love the ones too where they always take the screenshot of that fantastically rendered CGI up close shot and go, look, this is our console. And then they show the other one CGI. Like in game where you got like the actual character, and it's like, yeah, but look at this one on Xbox. And you're like, dude, you're comparing an up-close CGI trailer to an actual in-game scene. Again, if you're going to compare an apple, you got to be to an apple, not an apple to an orange, and that's the one thing that frustrates me is that level of, it's not just like a Digital Foundry thing where they go scene for scene and frame for frame, that sort of stuff. Like the fanboys always turn it into like, like they always find that angle that no matter how good the other product is, they're going to twist that screenshot or whatever to kind of fit the narrative they want to throw in their videos and make all the fans believe, look, see, that Xbox is not so powerful now, is it? But anyway, let's catch up to the super chat real quick. Felix, he drops $5 Canadian. Love this show. Great work, everyone. Quote of the day: I have adult money. Who said that? Was that you, Axel?
Yeah, he did.
That was me. That was me. I have adult money. I can buy whatever I want.
I like it. This money's a Monopoly stuff, is it?
I better not be, because I'm paying my bills with it.
And I'll let you jump back in, but I'm just going to say this, and I agree with Terry. Resolution shouldn't be the primary focus. But saying that, I do like games that run in high fidelity. If they're able to hit the 4K 60, don't worry. I do appreciate that. Trust me, because nothing looks like, Gears of War in 4K 60 is just unbelievable. My jaw's on the floor.
How good that game looks.
And when you have a good TV, I invested. My TV when I bought it, and it's not even an OLED, was like $1,800 Canadian, $1,800 on a television set. Okay, let that sink in. And I invested in that TV only because of the Xbox One X. That was the console that made me say, if I want to enjoy this hardware that I'm paying so much money for, I need the TV. Like, honestly, I'm sorry, guys, but if you're going to go out and spend money on a big console like that, and you're not going to invest in a television that actually runs it properly, you might as well just save your money and buy the one that doesn't run as well. I'm sorry, but that's the fact is a fact. What is the point in buying a fantastic console that run it on an old 1080p TV when you're not seeing the benefits of it? And then you can't sit there and go, well, this Xbox doesn't look so good as people touted. Well, no shit, Tonto. I'm sorry for the language. Of course it doesn't. You're playing an old television set. headset, man. Like, come on, you know, like
I agree with you, Newf. When the Xbox One X came out, I researched TVs to get for it, and I spent $3,000 on an LG OLED that year.
I literally saw a tweet like that where the guy was complaining how his Xbox didn't look right, and then he showed a screen capture of his settings, and he had all the X's. He didn't have any check marks. I'm like, well, duh. You know, that's like putting a 4-cylinder engine in a semi and expecting it to haul freight all day long. It ain't gonna happen, man. You know what I mean?
I will say one thing, which shout out to Cole Eastwood. I think maybe about 2 years ago, might have been even longer. He put out a video, just detailed video, just the difference between 30 and 60, and both of them are running 1080p. So you don't always have to have 4K is more of a buzzword. Like you said, Newf, I would love to have it if they're able to do it. But I want that 60 frames more than anything. That 60 frames is going to jump up the way that game performs and the way that looks more than anything.
Yeah, but not every TV can do, and we're talking TVs, not monitors, okay? Yeah. TVs, not every new TV can do 60, especially back on the one, if you bought your TV back in the Xbox One era. 60 frame per second TVs didn't start becoming a standard until the consoles pushed it. I mean, gamers are important to the TV marketers. You know, if the console makers are making 60, 100 FPS games, the TV market's going to follow and make 60, 100 FPS TVs. Now, me, you know, I'm okay with dynamic resolution. It doesn't bother me one bit because I don't notice it. It's going by so fast and I'm not pausing and all this other crap. I don't notice dynamic resolution. But I will notice going from 60 to 30. And to me, you know, being an old school gamer, we used to have 60 FPS. My Sega Saturn, for as crappy of a console as it was when it came out, and it kind of still is, it can at least do 60. My Sega Dreamcast can do 60. But, you know, my Xbox and my Xbox 360 could do 60. But my Xbox One couldn't. That's a bunch of crap. You know, like, give me 60 frames over high fidelity any day. But, you know, I like to get my money's worth out of something. If you advertise 4K 60, I expect 4K 60. And it's not anything fanboyish. It's your advertisement.
Exactly.
If you advertise it, you better deliver.
Yep. I'm dropping in the chat the link to Colt's video from a few years back. So
it's a great video. It's a great video.
I always funny though, because as console people, you know, we're sort of sitting here going about the solid state drives and the 60 frames and the 4K, and yet, you know, anybody that's had a sensible PC has been basically, you know, having these benefits for years. I feel it's like somebody came to my world and said, I have an oven and I have a microwave and it cooks things in 5 seconds. And the console guy is going like, I have fire. Look, match. I have fire. that's how I kind of feel. It's like we're all bragging about stuff that other people have been bragging about centuries ago. But it's kind of funny. Sorry. Just had to get that in there.
No, I was talking about this with the my friend that I live with now, and he's a tech guy too. And this generation is the closest we've had to a console that's come out to a decent PC level. I mean, it's right up there, you know.
What will be the graphic? This is just me. What will be the graphic card when it comes to Series X? Like, what's the closest one if you're trying to compare it to a PC?
That I couldn't. I
don't understand the question. Can you rephrase it?
He wants to know what PC graphics card most closely.
Yeah, like the Series X is close to a 2070, like that.
And that information is out there. I know it is.
Compared to the 21, to the
to
the 20 series, the 20 series,
2080.
But it's not exactly the 20 series either. It's kind of a hybrid because it's RDNA 2 20 series, which on PC doesn't exist. PC has moved on to the 30 series, which just blow the 20 series out of the water. I mean, it's not even it's night and day. So there's really, imagine a 20 series with RDNA 2 and nothing on PC does that. It's very middle of the roadish. Because 30 series or the new AMD ones, I don't know what they are because I'm not an AMD guy. But if the 30 series, those blow 20 series 4K processing power out of the water, and they have RDNA too, so it's even a bigger leap. So there's really nothing in there that really compares directly to a console. It's just too custom.
Okay, that's the part that I wanted to know. Gotcha. See, these are the type of conversation that I be talking with a friend of mine, but at the same time, at the end of the day, you know, if you put more money to a PC, you know, you'll get what you like. You know, that's the part that, you know, we always have tech. You know, I'm not a tech person, but sometimes you want to know what the system are capable of.
The consoles are getting a lot better, but they're always going to be playing catch up to PC because PC they continuously release new hardware like every year.
They move so quick.
Like your phones do. Your console eventually you're going to have it for 7 years before you get the next one, so you're always going to be outdated. The moment that console releases, it's already outdated.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, in the PC market, if you're going to be a serious, and I'm talking a serious PC gamer, you're upgrading every 2 years, every 3 years, and you're not upgrading $500. You're upgrading $2,000, maybe $3,000 every 2 to 3 years. I mean, that is an expensive way to game if you're really hardcore into it. And that's
better
just
get a cam inside.
That's something that's the main reason why I play on console is because I buy this console and it is good for 8 years. I don't have to upgrade. Every game that I buy will work on this console for 8 years. Will it do what PC does? No, but I'm still gonna love the game.
Yeah.
And I have just one little thing about how I love consoles because I started playing with PC back in late 90s. I got a console now. Last week's show, I couldn't get my link through Twitter just because my VPN was on and for some reason it wasn't accepted, and everything on my whole entire computer worked. My camera, my lights, my computer, whatever. I was sitting here connected to my OLED screen where I can use my computer screen and the screen back and forth. I could do whatever I wanted. Had Streamlabs open up, ready to go. I had my Elgato Wavelink system going. I had my Spotify playing in my headphones. Everything was working, but one click on my computer stopped me from using Twitter to get my link so I could have the podcast running using my computer stuff, and I had to sit in my room on the floor doing the podcast holding the phone. So console, you turn it on, it works. Computers, you're always doing something. It's always did you update something? Did you turn this on again? Did you use this as the most authorized user? Did you get this one update? There's every day you have to click something. Every day you have to update something.
That's right.
Every
Turn off
day,
and restart your PC daily.
Yes,
for
you have to
software
That's like
updating.
when you wake up, I gotta reset my mind. I gotta
you have to check
Yeah.
every setting that you clicked yesterday. You have to go back in, make sure those settings are clicked the same way.
It's like a Call of Duty update. It just doesn't take as much hard drive space.
It's literally when you turn on your Xbox or your PlayStation or whatever you prefer, you turn on, you have that update, like, oh, I have a new update. Okay, so you do the update and you're not worried when that update's done. You're like, okay, I'm going to do the update and I'm going to do what I want. When that Windows update shows up, I'm like, oh no. Because I know that Windows update's going to mess up it's going to mess up all my devices. It's going to mess up all my audio settings. And I'm going to be like, oh.
That reminds me when Terry helped me out with my new monitor. Like, oh, it's this thing, and it was the smallest thing, and I'm like,
always the dumbest little thing every time.
Just to give everybody an idea of PC, how painful it is to get my microphone to work. I was having problems. I have to make sure the volume on Windows system is good. I have to make sure the volume microphone reception on the browser is good. I have to make sure the volume reception on the software that it installs is good, and I have to make sure that the gain on this is all good, and all those have to be perfect to get a good sound out of a microphone. It's great in 4 settings. PC is very capable, very good, and awesome, but you better get ready to learn. It is not for plug and play. That
it's
plug
a
and play
learning curve.
is a full lie.
Big learning curve.
Fantastic points, guys. Fantastic points. Alrighty, well, I think it's time to move on from this debate. Like I said, it's going to be around for a while. I think we can all agree on that. It's up to us, I guess, to block them out or ignore the people that just constantly spout this stuff. And I'm glad to see, like I said, there's people on the panel like Shaddai and myself who will stick our hands up gladly and say, we're not tech experts. I know enough. Like, I know a little bit. I'm not completely blind and oblivious, but at the same time, I don't break it down. I don't know it well enough to debate somebody on it. You know what I mean? And that sort of thing. But there are people out there that do that. And that's the sad part, is that they act like they know tech. Then they post false narrative stuff, and then they get, basically called out on it. And then, so it's kind of stupid. We got Michelle Alexandra dropping a $2.99 super sticker. I think it's the first time I've ever had a super sticker. That's cool. I thought at least you didn't call me a super sucker. But yeah. Thank you, Michelle Alexandra. Greatly appreciate that. You guys are totally right. PCs are amazing, but at the same time, they come with a lot of headaches. And I think the thing is, you have to be knowledgeable. Otherwise, that headache, what is a small problem for Axel is probably a huge problem for the average user, where you just don't know what the hell you're doing, where you need to go to find something. I mean, I still struggle with mine, and I've had PCs for years, and I'm always like, what the heck? Because they change so much stuff. They put stuff on their new menus. Like, that's part of it too, right? And this is the one thing with Xbox too, that's why some people have criticized it, is actually, in my opinion, is actually good, is that they didn't really mess with the UI this time on the console. They kept things very familiar with the last iteration on the Xbox. It runs a lot better now on the new ones, obviously, but it's familiar. You don't have to relearn it every single time, because honestly, I had the PS5, and I found it, while it was cool, you had to relearn a lot of things. They have this shuffling system in there, and you have to find the sub tile underneath another tile, and it's until you kind of get the swing of it, it's a little bit like, well, how do you do this? Like, even just turning off the console, you got to go through a couple of rigmarole things just to kind of find it, And yes, I sold my PS5, just putting that out there. I had bills to pay, and I wasn't playing it enough to warrant just keeping it around, being the big towering dust collector. So there you go.
A huge part of that is what's brilliant with Microsoft is they slowly updated and changed the UI throughout the Xbox One generation. So we were slowly getting integrated to it. So we only had to learn a little here and there versus having a hard change like what Sony does with PlayStation. It's a huge change, which is nice that Microsoft slowly integrated it. So we were, we didn't have that hard change, which made it a lot easier and more user friendly for sure. Even if you look back at the 360, if you look at how the UI changed through the 360, it had huge changes, but because they did slowly over time, it wasn't as different as like I said, Sony. They do the one UI for that whole flipping thing, and then the next one's a huge difference. They don't really do too much changing, so it's more user friendly that Microsoft does that, and I like that they do that.
There you go. Good stuff. An amazing chat again today, guys. Fantastic. Wasn't Michelle? Yes, you can, but I've always been a console gamer. Use Max for everything else. All right. Who has our next segment ready to go? Scrub, do you have anything about the games coming out right now? If you don't, that's okay.
Scrub, you're muted.
Nah, Scrub has nothing to say on it, obviously.
Nothing to say. I think this will kind of go into the last topic if we do get to that, but I'll share my screen real quick, and then we'll go from there. Hold on 1 second.
Come on, give this man some beat.
Come on. I'm sorry. When I'm thinking, I always have music in my head. I'm sorry.
When I'm thinking, I'll be drinking.
But are you really thinking that?
I think he's singing the All Access thing.
Okay, here we go.
It's all there.
It's all there.
Yeah, here you go.
I know hair.
It's all there. So I'm just pulling up Game Pass counter, and then we're just gonna go to what's coming soon. But let's start with leaving soon. If there's something in Game Pass that you want to look at that you don't know is leaving, UFC, EA Sports, UFC, and UFC 2. They're not the greatest UFC games, so. I really don't care about that, but look at all our Star Wars games. If you're a big Star Wars fan, good thing about Game Pass, if you just download it, you'll have the game, especially if it's Xbox first party games. Now, stuff that is leaving, you want to download it, and then if you want to keep it, you can also buy these games at a discounted price. Especially the longer you have Game Pass, sometimes you'll get even a bigger discount. So the stuff that's leaving before July 14th, there you go. If you want to pause it at any time and look at it, or you can just go here to GamePassCounter.com. So I'm gonna close that, and we're gonna go to recently added. Like I said, I won't go too quick, but everything here is just sitting in alphabetical order. If you hadn't had a chance to go, I know one of these that just came in was Proteus. A lot of people have been talking about that game, but coming soon, which Medium is coming to cloud. Farming Simulator, that's one of my favorite games. You know how I love to play those. But Flight Simulator coming July 27th. We got the big one right here, Ascent, as well, coming on the 29th. These are just some of the games that's coming in the next week or so. As we go on, we have plenty of games. If you can see this list just coming down, everything that we were shown during E3, we're getting dates, which is great. Please keep this saved on your taskbar or something if you ever want to figure out what's coming out next, because it's a ton of games and it's so many. Sometimes you'll miss it. A lot of times you'll see with Game Pass over 100 games. Look what we got, 469, and that's console games, that's PC games, cloud games. You have all your games EA Play, your back compat, your touch games where you're using the xCloud on your handhelds. A lot of people want to know which ones are touch or which one you have to have a controller. You got your 60 FPS boost games. Then you have your SPS boost that is 120 frames, which if you have the TV that can do it, we're talking about 30 to 60, 100 versus 20 versus 60 is a big thing. We have our optimized games. There's so many games. I mean, look how long. I keep scrolling down. We're finally getting to the bottom. And then so please have this saved. There's a lot of games coming up. There's not too many of just the biggest of the biggest Game Pass coming out this week. But be sure to check this out anytime you can. We got a lot of games coming up. There was going to be a big first party game each month.
Nice.
All the way to the end of the year. So just be on the lookout.
Good stuff from Scrub Nurse, guys. Keep a check on it. I do believe, again, that is GamePassCounter.com. Is that correct? Did I put it in the chat right?
Yes, that's it.
Perfect. There you go, guys. Let's get over and find out if Axel has anything cloud-related. Is it raining in your neck of the woods?
It rained last night, but I was so tired I apparently didn't notice it. So I'm just going to touch up on what Scrub Nurse said. So Flight Simulator is coming to the cloud, which means the cloud is running on Xbox Series X blades.
Yes.
Which came as a surprise to me because I thought they were going to use Series S blades to save money. But it turns out that they went all the way Series X blades. And I have tried out some Series X games on Xbox xCloud. I don't know how to say it. I've tried it on xCloud. And the latency is reduced. It's almost non-existent. You can actually play Forza now if you land on a Series X blade.
Oh, seriously?
Seriously, on Wi-Fi. Like,
I'm gonna have to try it again.
Interesting.
So it did improve the latency, as Jez Corden from Windows Central fame was saying. So no lie there. And I'm excited to play Flight Simulator on the cloud because I'm not going to lie. I'm probably going to play it at work, and in between projects, I'll set the autopilot, and every now and again I'll grab my controller and make my adjustments and then go right back to work and fly it. Like, it is just so relaxing to play Flight Simulator. So yeah, say goodbye to my data, or my work's data, because I'm going to be using their Ethernet cables for it. So yeah, that is the biggest news we have on cloud is that they went Series X, whereas I thought they were going to go Series S, and it did improve the latency, so you can play faster games, you can play shooters. There's still some latency, but it's so ridiculously better now than it was that you basically have no excuse anymore.
Nice.
Yeah, the
So
Master Chief
kudos
Collection.
to Xbox for doing that and thinking forward. I had read a report that they were using server-based chips in the new consoles, and I was thinking to myself, why are they using server-based chips? And now I know why. So Xbox is thinking really far forward in the future. Can't wait for it to experience the full-blown flight simulator on my phone instead of buying those cheap ones that are like Infinite Flight or what is it, Flight Simulator X11 or something like that.
Yeah.
X-Plane, that's what it is. X-Plane 11, which have not modeled the entire planet. There's just nothing like Microsoft Flight Simulator in the planet right now. So yeah, can't wait.
Absolutely. Can't wait to try it out for sure. Like Paul says, it's a simulator and it's a damn good one, but probably not the most exciting game in the world. You're flying. You're flying. You're going to see some amazing locales.
Real quick to address Matt Burns. Matt Burns says, I need to try cloud gaming again. I'm curious if it's good enough to plug into a projector yet. Been a long time since I tried it. No, it's still streaming at 720p. You cannot get it any higher right now. I believe that they do plan on going 1080 here soon, but right now it's only streaming at 720p. Right. So if you plug that thing to your projector, you are going to get some.
The bigger the screen, the worse it's going to look.
Some pixelation. Just FYI.
Yeah. Good stuff, man. Awesome. And Paul, how about yourself, man? Have you got any updates on accessibility?
I told you before the show. No.
Oh, right. That's right.
No, not really. There hasn't been anything. Nothing has come up new and exciting. Just the same old stuff. I've got some exciting stuff coming out in the next few weeks that I'll let you know when that actually drops.
Perfect.
Including a Canadian web series that I'm actually going to be on camera for that they did an interview for a few weeks ago. So
good. Well, look forward to that, Paul. Well, since we got you rambling here, Paul, let's kind of end off the show, guys, with just summer of gaming, as Scrubner's kind of alluded to with some of the releases. I think it's safe to say a lot of us here are at least super excited or probably going to pick up Microsoft Flight Simulator for their Xbox Series S and X. Hold up your hand on screen, guys, if you plan to buy it or play it at least. Everybody here? Anybody? I do.
I already played on my PC, but I do want to check it out on the console too.
I'll try it.
Yeah, I'll try it too.
Comparison type of thing,
Cool. Awesome. Terry's just like...
I love simulators. I just have no interest in that one.
Yeah, it's only to try to see what it looks like. Yeah, I'm not big in it, but I do want to see what it's going to look like on the console.
It's on Game Pass. Aren't you curious to at least fire it up and fly a plane perhaps over your house or your city and just be like, oh, that's kind of cool?
Isn't SnowRunner somewhat similar?
Nothing like SnowRunner.
No, it's nothing like SnowRunner.
No, it's a sim.
I will say, having just flown the other day, and having done Flight Simulator a few days before that, the realism is really amazing. Going up into the clouds and stuff, and seeing the way the light changes and stuff when you go up high. And when I was on the plane, I was thinking to myself, how did this look? Because I kind of mirrored the flight on Flight Simulator that I took the other day. And it was pretty much exactly the same. You could look down and see how the ground was laid out and stuff and go, yeah, I remember that from the game. Yeah, it looked just like that. So the realism is there, and it's really kind of cool that way. Yeah. If you're into that kind of thing to go, okay, this is, And like I said, crossing from the clouds, from the fluffy ones to the dark gray ones and flying through the clouds and all that is so realistic now.
Yes. And a couple of fantastic content.
Sorry, I'm very curious. So, Flight Simulator, when you fly nighttime, every light you see has its own individual light source. So when you fly into like New York at night, it cripples most rigs because it has to render each and every one of those light sources that you see individually.
Yeah.
So I'm really curious to fly into New York at night on Flight Simulator to see how the series consoles handles it.
Try Tokyo at night. Holy
yeah, no,
crap.
I haven't crashed in Flight Simulator, but my whole PC has crashed. I had to change my settings to fly to Tokyo.
And with Tokyo is one of the places where they did the free upgrade, the free
the
high
world
definition
updates.
world update. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Can't
yeah,
wait.
it's wild. It's absolutely wild.
I have
So is
300 flight
console-
hours logged, so I
Is
know.
console going to have that kind of support though, with the updates like that? Because like on PC, when the ship got caught in the canal, they updated that for the game. And everybody was flying over the canal to see the ship, get stuck.
Right.
I don't know if console's going to be that up to date.
If they're using Google Maps data, they could. I mean, because
Well,
Yeah,
one of the
Flight
biggest
Sim
reasons
is
I
the
can't
new
wait to play it
crisis.
too is for the Top Gun content, and I know, like
Yeah.
I said, that's not going to be a fighter mode, but that in itself has me super excited.
You go faster.
yeah.
I'll do some
It's
barrel
funny
rolls on the
because-
F-14 Tomcat.
It's funny because in Flight Simulator, you could speed up your flights,
Mhm.
but when you speed up your flights, if you're in full sim mode, your plane tears apart.
Yeah.
And you,
Wow.
because it increases it doesn't like, it's a progressive world with everybody, so it's not technically speeding up the flight, it's speeding up your plane. And they didn't address it where it ignores some of the physics, so it speeds up your plane, and the wind just completely tears your plane apart.
Just
It's really funny to
it
do.
just shears your plane to pieces.
Yeah, it's really funny. It's really funny to get a Cessna to go as fast as a jet and then just fall apart.
Nice. Well, let's just end the show again on a high note with games. Obviously, a lot of games still coming out. We've got Flight Sim, we got Psychonauts #2 coming, I think, toward the end of the summer here.
Mhm.
The Ascent is just around the corner.
Yep.
Yeah, so like lots of games. And that's just a couple of the Microsoft centric sort of games, or at least the games they're promoting. What else is everybody excited for? Any sort of thing on the radar that perhaps hasn't really been discussed? That sort of stuff. How do you guys
World.
feel?
New World. That's the big game that I'm super psyched for. It comes out in like 8 days now. I think I'm down to 8 days, and I'll have New World. I'm so excited. That game.
What's it about? Give us a little rundown.
New World is this. It's the new game that is made by Amazon Studios. It's PC only. It's an MMO. It takes place during like the what's the time period? It's kind of more of like the Inquisitor kind of time period. So you're gonna have you'll have like flintlock guns as well as swords and things like that. So it's kind of in that time period of medieval. It starts to convert more into the gunpowder age. So it's just really, really cool, and it's a lot of fun, and I can't wait, because it's MMOs are kind of oversaturated, and most of them are copy paste of each other.
Right.
Especially since most MMOs are Korean made, and they're all basically the same game with a different skin. So it's very rare that I get an MMO that I get excited for. So this is the first MMO I've been excited for since Elder Scrolls Online dropped. So it's been years since I've had an MMO I cared about. So I'm excited.
Great. How about you, Shaddai?
Actually, I had on mine Stalker 2 because just because I love Metro, and that will be actually the first time playing Stalker series.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one of the games that I'm actually looking for, and the other one would be Back for Blood. I miss Left 4 Dead. So, that spiritual successor, I'm looking forward to it.
And both of those games are expected to come out in the summer here?
No.
I think Stalker,
No.
but I know Back for Blood is in October.
October.
I know that one is in October.
Stalker is next year.
It's
April
next year?
28th.
Okay.
Right.
So I skipped that one, even though I'm still gonna get it. But Back for Blood and Common Sense, and I know Axel is gonna love this. Halo Infinite 2. I'm looking forward to that. I want to know. I want to see the progress from that project. I really do. I really want to see what have they done, what changes have they made.
Shaddai, I said summer games, man, not into the fall and Christmas here.
Yeah, but I can't
He's
say
so excited.
Psychonauts. I can't say Psychonauts because I haven't played the first one, so I gotta skip those. The Ascent, well, it caught my attention, but at the same time, don't. So it all depends. So for now, are those two?
I'm just
Let's
razzing you, man.
let's just mute Shaddai then. Let's just mute him.
Ah! I'm
Just
just
put him back in
gonna,
his prison
We
cell.
could go on all day,
Prison cell,
but
Shaddai.
just to be nice, I'll look at it. You know, I'll look at it first before I start playing it.
Yeah.
that Tunic game, does anybody know what release date is expected for that? Because I know they had the demo. So
Yes, it says never.
Never.
Never,
Oh, wow.
never coming up.
It's gonna release when? What's that space game that basically took forever to make on the PC and it's still not released?
Elite
No Man's
Dangerous.
Sky?
No, it's called Star something. Whatever. Anyways,
Oh,
it's become
I know.
vaporware. Star Citizen. There we go.
Yeah,
Star
Star
Citizen.
Citizen.
Yeah, it's gonna release when Star Citizen releases.
Gotcha. Axel, how about yourself, man? What are you diving into over the next couple of weeks?
Over the next couple of weeks.
Or what are you playing? What are you playing right now? I mean, it could be a current game that has you excited that you're going to be playing for the next little while.
Okay, so I just pre-ordered Tales of Arise.
Forgot about that.
And I know Shaddai forgot. I can't believe we forgot. Everybody, boo this fraud. Boo.
Boo this man. Boo this man.
That's in September. It's so
Hey,
far
September
away.
is still summer.
September
September is still
is
summer.
summer.
I don't know where
Yeah,
you're at.
September
In
is
Texas,
I consider
in
that
Texas,
fall.
November is still summer. All right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Louisiana.
Up in the
you go to
Midwest,
November.
September's
Yeah.
fall. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. It's fall.
It's already
Right,
hit like 30
summer-
degrees
the fall
outside.
solstice doesn't start until September 21st. I have until September 21st.
That's right. That's right.
No, so Tales of Arise, I'm very excited for because Tales of Berseria came out in 2016.
Mm-hmm.
But to keep me entertained between now and then, I am just playing the backlog. I am grinding through Yakuza right now, and I'm gonna also start grinding through some of my older games that I have. And of course, I keep going back to my to the consistent games that I play. Right now, I'm really into Forza Motorsport. Forza Horizon is better, but I'm liking the simulation in Forza Motorsport, where you actually have to go in and get new tires and all this stuff. I don't know. It adds an extra layer of strategy to me that I enjoy.
That's why I play NASCAR.
What? I mean, they have NASCAR. They have NASCAR races in Forza. I played those. They're fun.
Not the same, man. You're
100 laps of
NASCAR
left
branded,
turns.
NASCAR Heat, man. That's where it's at. If you want all that stuff, is hard.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's hard. Like, you got to approach those banks correctly, or else your car's gonna really get messed up, and you have to pit sooner.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, there is some strategy in NASCAR, but yeah, so that's what I'm looking forward to is Tales of Arise. It is a summer game. I don't care what anybody says. It comes out early September.
It's a summer game. It's a summer
That's
game.
right. That's right. So that's what I'm looking forward to.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
Newf is probably going to be getting snow in September, so I mean,
Nothing unlikely, but don't jinx it. I just bought my bike. I want to get as many rides in as possible.
It's always like that. Once it hit that September 1st, the first snowfall. So it's like
You guys got to come to Texas.
What is snow?
Yeah.
What is snow? Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me.
I just found out about snow in the last snowpocalypse down here.
You know what? You know those old style fridge that the ice is, on
Yeah.
like
Deep
around
freeze.
there and you gotta scrape
Yeah.
it. That's snow to you, that's snow for you.
That's snow.
Mhm.
Well, there's a lot of East Coast people from Canada in the chat, and they certainly know what there is snow, and there's basically two types of snow. Like there's the light snow we get in Alberta, which is light and fluffy, fairly easy to get rid of, and then you get the East Coast snow, which is saturated with moisture, and it'll break your back trying to shovel it out, man. It's unbelievable.
Oh, I thought it was one is whiter while the other one is more whiter. So I'm like,
no.
like the blizzard. That's the blizzard when it gets more
No.
whiter.
Well, there's a couple types of snow, yeah.
How do you keep the igloo from melting when you're with your wife?
Oh Lord.
Oh. That's easy. You just don't get intimate. It never
Oh,
happens.
I'd rather be in Texas.
Okay. Be careful.
I just let her cold heart take over.
Yeah.
Oh goodness.
Oh man. Who didn't have a chance to answer? Scrubs?
Um, right now, I think which is going to be the closest one is I want to use some dual sticks. I want to jump on the Ascent, check that out. See if I can jump on some people, maybe somebody in the chat, maybe the panel. We go on some Ascent and see how it is. It looks great. Everything we've seen. I want to see the cutscenes. The top down looks great. I know it's on the 29th. I've been thinking about it since the beginning of the month. So I got time to play other games until that time. But yeah, for this summer, I think the biggest one for me is going to be the Ascent.
Nice, the Ascent. Yeah, that's co-op too. That's 2 or 4 player?
Is it 4?
I think it's
3
4.
player.
Three.
Three
Yes,
player.
3. That's 3 player.
Yeah,
That's
that'll
right,
be
that's
exciting.
right.
We're looking
3.
forward to that. Yeah, that'll be good.
But you also
Three's
have,
the
you
new
know,
popular thing. I hate it.
yeah. You got Hades, you got 12 minutes, you got Psychonauts 2, you got the Gunk coming out before then. So there's a lot of stuff coming in the summer and then even smaller games. So there's stuff for people. Flight Simulator. Guys, go
You
find
want
a
to
game.
name everything before I get a chance to say a word. That's fine. Yes. I'm just gonna go everything he just said.
Well, that's
everything he
not
just said, yeah.
my pick. I'm just listing it out for the chat for folks who don't know what's going on.
Well, but you, Paul, is obviously from the list he just mentioned. Is there anything that didn't make that list that you're playing?
No,
Or
but
looking
actually,
forward
he
to?
pretty much named it all. Hades, and especially, I'm actually looking more forward to like the 12 minutes or whatever it is. I mean that to me that just seems like a totally unique game that I can't wait to try.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's probably my big one. You know, Hades, I can already tell you, I'm probably gonna hate it. I'm gonna play it, but I'm gonna probably hate it from what I've heard about it. So, but I will-
Good joke. Hades hate.
Yeah.
Oh, I do want to mention, sorry, I did forget one.
Go.
Death's Door looks awesome. I cannot wait to play that game. That is right up my alley. That game, action adventure, swordplay, it looks cool. I like the art style on it. It's coming out soon, I believe.
Yeah.
I don't think that falls into the fall or winter. I think it's a summer game, but I cannot wait to try that one. Diablo 2, yes,
That's
again.
right. Yes.
Cow levels all the way.
People looking forward to jumping back into that. For me, outside of the usual games that you guys mentioned, I think Psychonauts is definitely the one that I'm looking forward to the most, from the mind of Tim Schafer and the amazing crew over at Double Fine. From the last few videos I saw, it looks absolutely stunning. Makes me want to go back and play the first one again. But outside of that, man, for me, it's going to be coming down to this one that nobody's really talked about, and it's kind of fallen off the radar for a while. I don't know if you guys have heard of it. It's been out on PC. It's called Insurgency Sandstorm. Sandstorm Insurgency. It's another first-person shooter set, I think, in the Middle East, and it looks absolutely dynamite. I've heard people that have played it that said it's a really good game, and of course the console port or whatever is supposed to be coming out here soon. Definitely going to be checking that one out. I don't know. I think they listed it. I think it was August. Perhaps it's between August and October, but I think they were trying to aim for the end of the summer. And that's the one that I got to check into and see what's happening with that, because it's been very quiet. But yeah, and of course I heard a podcast the other day talking about Crossfire X. I'm kind of wondering what's happening with that, where that campaign is. Hasn't really been. See, Caper Grant knows it's great on PC, Newf. So there you go. I kind of wonder where that is too. Crossfire X, they're supposed to make that campaign mode and stuff. So there's definitely a lot to play, guys. There's no question about it. Let's hope that the Ascent comes out and does really well, which I think it will. I can see a lot of people playing that, especially in its initial launch window, that sort of stuff. So, man, you got Game Pass, you got lots of choices. There's no question about that. So, Happy Cloud Gamer, what's going on? There you go. Actually, you got a guy in the chat that's Happy Cloud Gamer.
That's right. We were apparently separated at birth.
Great chat today, guys. You guys are fantastic. I think is that everything? Did anybody have any further thoughts before we kind of close out the show?
Oh, I just wanted to mention. I want to mention something in the chat because I know we've talked about it ourselves. Is The Last Night is still in production, and they're still working on finishing that game. So I know we've oh god, now I can't think of the name of the game. Replaced. We saw on the E3 trailer. Replaced is a game that's coming, but it is not replacing the last night. The developers did come out on Twitter and they have shared some gifs of it. It looks great. Don't know dates yet, but it is still in production and they're working on it. So
I know you said something about coming soon 2021. It's like you said, the question is, when are they going to release it?
Right. Great questions. Always good questions. All right, everybody. Well, we are definitely well over the 2-hour mark, heading into an hour and a half. I think it is time to close the show. We basically hit on most of the topics we had for today, and it's been an awesome show. We could talk about some more stuff, but I don't think we're just not going to have enough time today. I think there was maybe something else that somebody mentioned in the chat, but no, I think we pretty much caught up everything, so that's good. So let's get to the outros, shall we? And let's start with the man in the bottom corner. Glad he could make it back with us this week. As always, it's the Cerebral one, Cerebral Paul, who games differently. Cerebral, let people know where they can check out any content you have going on, sir.
You can find me on Twitter at Cerebral Paul 1, Twitch at Cerebral Paul, YouTube at Cerebral Paul, which I still enjoy the fact that I can now actually just tell you that and you can actually find me. You know, it initially will come up with Cerebral Palsy, I'm sure. But and then you can also find me, of course, here every Sunday morning. My Sunday afternoon show is on hiatus because poor Flemish is going through some back issues and looks like he has to have back surgery. Mm-hmm. Which is, so then that's going to suck because back surgery is a pain to recover from, literally. Mm-hmm. And then you can find me every Wednesday on the midweek gaming on the Stubbs cast. So there you go.
There you go, guys. Go check out Paul. Give him some support. Show him some love. He's definitely making the rounds. Let's get over to Scrubner. Scrubs, where can people find you, man, when you're online, all that stuff?
All right. Yeah, it was a great show, guys. Had fun. You can catch me online, Twitter, Scrub Nurse 3. You can find me on Facebook, streaming with my crew on the Bayou Elite. I'm on also Twitch at Scrub_Nurse. And then my gamer tag on Xbox. If you guys want to add me, feel free. That'll be all cap Scrub space Nurse. So it's all about playing games, having fun. It's always good to be back with you guys and sharing our thoughts on gaming and what you like to do and have for fun. So keep at it. Don't forget to share and like, and thank you for joining us.
Yeah, it's awesome to see you coming out to Community Game Night. That was a good surprise. Not this past weekend, but last week when you came out to play some Titanfall, it was awesome seeing you guys come out and be a part of that. And hopefully everybody from this panel gets to come out and try it one of these weeks if the games are up your alley. So always a ton of fun. Let's get over to the Axel man who's dropping the X. Let people know where they can find you and check out your content, my friend.
All right, everybody. You can find me here on YouTube, Axel1324 Gaming, where I drop videos every week. I do videos of just me or videos with some of the Xbox community members where we just do a quick Q&A. You can also find me on Twitter at Axel1324. You can find me on Twitch at Axel1324 Gaming, where I stream every Saturday. And, of course, you can find me on Xbox, Axel1324. Be sure to add me. And if you ever see me online, send me invites. Even if I'm playing something else, most of the time, I'm literally just killing time. And I don't mind dropping what I'm doing to join somebody else's game, as long as I have it.
Perfect.
All right.
Well, check out Axel, people. There you go. Go play some games with the man right there. All right, let's get over to Eternal Shaddai, who is now leaving us live from the attic. Shaddai, let people know where to check out, man.
Send this fraud back to prison.
They just transfer me to another cell. So this time have shells.
He's in that whatchamacallit room. What's the one where they put them in solitary, isn't
solitary. The padded one?
Yeah.
The special housing unit?
You guys are crazy. No, first of all, I would like to thank everybody on the panel that, took their time to watch us and, have fun with us, with our topics. But you can find me on Twitter at Eternal Shaddai, also on Xbox console at Eternal Shaddai. I'll be starting to stream pretty soon on Twitch. It is ETE Shaddai. And also, I'll be doing podcasting on Saturdays in Spanish with other friends of mine called Mundo de Mancos. So I would like to thank each and one of you until next weekend.
Fantastic. All right, let's catch up with Coolcat Terri, who's always busy making content and streaming and stuff. So, Terri, let people know where they can catch up with you when they're not checking you out here.
All right, you can catch me on Twitter. That's Coolcat_Terri. I have a lot of indie stuff on there, all kinds of other things. Check that out. I also stream on Twitch. Coolcat Terri. Everything going forward is going to be the same. Coolcat Terri, just like you see on YouTube. I'm there during all week long, Monday through Thursday, 6 p.m. Eastern till midnight, and then Friday is an earlier one, 2 to 6, and then Saturday is a short one, like 6 to 10. And I play an assortment of stuff. From RPGs, racing games, things like that, puzzle games, whatever. It's good stuff. I also have my own podcast called Just a Glimpse. You can check that out on Spotify, Google, or Apple Podcasts. It's great to listen to get a different perspective on things, because I tend to have unpopular opinions about a lot of things. So it's refreshing. People like it because they like getting a different perspective. Even if they disagree with me wholeheartedly, at least they got to hear something different that they didn't hear on Max repeat everywhere else. So it's good stuff. So go ahead and check all that out. And I think that pretty much covers it.
Awesome. Fantastic stuff. And you guys know where to find me, always in the gutter. When I'm not here doing this podcast, I'm hanging out with the amazing Titan Drago and Middle-Aged Game Guy for Gaming After Dark on Tuesday evenings. This week is going to be a good show. Could have been better show. The fact that Titan's going to be a fraud and he's not going to show up this week, just when Jesse Darby calls him out and challenges him. So Titan won't be able to make it this week, but we're going to have a fantastic guest by the name of Predator H2S. H2S. So Pred's going to be on the show this week. Good. Looking forward to him. He's always a great guy, brings a lot to the table, and it's been long overdue. So yeah, I can't wait to get Predator on the show. It's going to be a good one. So me, him, and Mag at least. And if Jesse Darby still wants to show up, or if he wants to leave his vitriol commentary for Titan on another week, that's fine too. So, but it's going to be a good time. As far as community game night this week, guys, I'm going to be at a wedding on Saturday. Next Saturday I'll be at a wedding, so I got a feeling I probably won't be back in time to host it. Anybody else who wants to do that is certainly welcome to go right ahead. I might do something on Friday night beforehand, though. Next Friday, I actually have the day off of work, so I'm looking to get some gaming in and all that good stuff. So we'll see how that goes. But it's going to be good times. Like I said,
Newf, talk to me after the show, because I've had an idea about that actually. So.
Okay, we'll definitely do that for sure. But yeah, that's about it for us, guys. Another phenomenal episode of Good Morning Xbox. Our 8th one is in the books. Hard to believe it's been a couple of months now. We love the feedback. We see a lot of positivity in our chats. We're getting some new people. As I said, we got Anzu in the chat. Anzu. So he's coming all the way from France. Great show. Anku. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing it wrong, but nice podcast, great panel. Thanks for all the big love from France. So we appreciate that. And it's always good to hear from people who are tuning in from other parts of the world. All that good stuff, guys. You're fantastic. Titan's pissed off in the chat. Grrr. Well, Titan, I'm sorry, man, but your Jesse challenges.
This is like the second show in a month that you've skipped out on, Titan. So
Yeah,
you're afraid of these people.
Yeah, you're missing more shows than some people miss periods. So come on, dude, let's go. A little Gaming After Dark humor coming in here. All right, Caper Man, if you want to take up the reins on one of those, brother, go for it. Brandon Burns, what's going on? Great show. Thank you, Quietish. Thank you so much, guys. You're fantastic. Got to do another giveaway here coming up in the future soon as well. So I'll definitely keep you posted on that. But yeah, Let's get out of here, guys. You guys have a fantastic Sunday. We'll see you again next week. Until then, stay well, game on, and have fun. Take care.
Bye, everybody.
See you later. Have a good one.
From prison.
See ya.